Fade in, fade in, fade in, fade in, fade in.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Are you bummed that Luke didn't get sort of a reunion with Han Solo?
Absolutely. In fact, when I was reading it, I thought, if Leia's trying to mentally contact me and she's not successful, she'll rush to his aid. She'll get close to him and then get into some dire situation, and that's when I show up for a big yay! Save her life. Then we rush to Han and are in the same position that Rey and Finn and Chewie are. Too late to save him, but witnesses. And I say, because it would carry so much emotional resonance into the next film. For us, his wife, his best friend to witness, instead of two characters that have known him, what, 20 minutes?
Well, you're assuming that I train Rey.
Exactly. Sneaky.
Do I?
Sneaky.
I know, I have to be really careful. People say, was it difficult to pick up and wield a lightsaber again? And I go, do I pick up?
Is it difficult acting in this movie? Am
Well,
I in this movie?
I can promise you my part is twice as big as it was in Force Awakens. When I read 8, I told Ryan, I fundamentally disagree with virtually everything you've decided about my character.
Who is this guy? How did the most optimistic, hopeful character in the galaxy turn into this hermit who says it's time for the Jedi to end? I read that and I said, what? I mean, that's not what a Jedi does. I mean, a Jedi is optimistic. A Jedi has tenacity. He never gives up. He doesn't secrete himself on an island. But you'll...
Something that George initially set out to do was a kind of 3-act saga with these 3 trilogies. And I think we felt that we should honor and respect that.
Liar! Liar! Liar!
I think that the thing that George never did was maintain the status quo. And I think that that's really important because...
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you!
I've kind of lost control of Star Wars, so it's going off in a different path than what I intended. But the first 6 are very much mine and my philosophy. And I think that philosophy sort of goes beyond any particular time, because it's based on history, it's based on philosophy, it's based on a lot of things. And you know, the first 3 basically tell you how a democracy turns into a dictatorship, and you end up with a tyrant, the emperor. It's a very important now, where we are now in our political history.
And as always, may the Force be with you.
I'm kind of retarded.
Fade in.
What's up, all my Ewoks, Trolls, Droids, and Wookiees? It's Anna, also known as that Star Wars Girl, and today I'm doing a very special stream. I am going to be talking with a former Star Wars and Superman artist, the one and only Gabe Eltaeb. Gabe, did I say your last name right?
You did not, but that's okay. Nobody does. And
how do I say it?
First of all, Star Wars fans. I love that in your intro, that lady there. No, it's okay, but that's all right. It's okay.
How do you say it?
Eltaeb.
Eltaeb. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I think I listened to Ethan's stream too much, and that's the way he pronounced it.
He can't do it, and that's okay. It's part of his charm. How are you this morning?
I'm good. The alarm went off late, so I'm an hour behind schedule, but it's okay. Everything's good. Everything's good. What about you? How's your morning going?
Good. I finally got some sleep. I'm still a little tired, but you know, I launched my thing yesterday, and I think I was on 2 hours of sleep. I literally did 10 hours of YouTube yesterday. So I fell asleep watching a Charles Bronson movie where he was killing a bunch of dudes. So that's how I like it. That relaxes me, watching Charles Bronson kill people. It puts me in a very relaxed mood. So
at least you don't fall asleep during the streams like I do. I was on Flashcast on Saturday, and I woke up at like 4 a.m, and I was just in the back room with my avatar by myself.
Have you ever had any dreams about like YouTube or like an anxiety dream where you screw it up or something bad happens? Or
I am terrified of like thinking that I end a stream and I don't, and then going to bed and like leaving or eating or leaving my house for the weekend and my stream is still up going and you just see like my empty little studio.
I've done that. I was on the stream with Aaron Lepresti, comic book artist, and David Williams. And I said, all right, bye guys. And I hit exit studio, not end stream. I just went in the kitchen and had dinner and talking to my wife and all this stuff. And,
no.
And I'm looking at the stream, like, how many views does it get? And it's like, live. I wonder why it's live. And then the chat was going. And then Aaron and Dave just stayed on camera and roasted the crap out of me.
Oh, my God.
So that was fun. I've also started my streams with my microphone muted a few times. We started that way today. You were talking to me, and I'm like, blah, 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 blah. And
well, I mean, it's better it's muted than you're saying something you don't want other people to hear. And
that's
on.
A scary one, too.
Yeah.
So
I think one time, and it's only happened to me once, I came in the back room and I didn't know we were on air. And so we were just talking. I didn't say anything bad, but then I realized I'm like, oh my God, we're live. I was like, oh shit. I could have said something bad.
Yeah, that's not cool. That's not cool, but it's fun though. I don't know. The YouTube is crazy and it's fun, and there's sometimes like I hate YouTube because it's like time consuming. But then I'm like, that's a bad attitude. I should be grateful that I have this avenue that I can reach out and touch and connect with people. And I think like people like your fans here, and I hope to be mine because I'm a big Star Wars guy, Fandom Menace and all that, and Comicsgate. They're such amazing, funny people. The chat is like more than half of this for me. Without the chat, this would be like, ugh, who wants to do it? But it's really fun, funny stuff that they say.
Yeah, the chat actually helped save my painting yesterday. I decided I was going to do a 12-month, I paint a new portrait every month. And so yesterday I was painting Harley Quinn, and it never occurred to me that I haven't really drawn boobs before or painted boobs.
Wow.
And so I was, I just did like the Bruce Timm version of Harley Quinn, but it was like based on a sketch. So like her boobs are a little accentuated a little bit more. And so one of them I got down, the other one, it was at like a straightforward angle.
Ooh,
and
surgery.
Yeah, I was just like, this is, and I was like, I've never painted boobs before. And so they all helped me because I'm like, I don't know. It kind of looks right.
That's the stream pulling together for what's important. So
exactly. Yeah, Russell Hall, they were terrible. I'm sorry, Russell. Ooh. I tried. I learned. I was like, yeah, I usually, because you typically draw things that and it's like, I prefer looking at men because I'm straight. So it's like, I can draw muscles.
You and Henry Cavill have a legendary romance, is what I've heard.
Oh yeah, the symphony is strong.
I love that guy. I think he's super cool and charming. I think that's the one difference between men and women. When I see a handsome, rich dude, I'm like, dang, I got to be more like that guy. But if you see a gorgeous woman, don't you be like, I hope she gets fat. Isn't that the truth? Be honest.
Only if she's a bitch. If I like her, then it's not.
Okay. Let me show you something.
Yeah.
I'm going to grab a piece of paper in my office to show you about your crooked drawing. I have some advice.
Oh, okay.
If I can find it. It's right here somewhere. Oh, here it is. Sorry, like the nutty professor running around. David Williams showed me this. He was an animator for Warner Brothers, Ben 10, and all that. Comic arts. It's a simple trick he showed me. This one trick makes doctors hate him. If you have a light table, you draw your drawing on one side, then flip it, right? Everyone knows that, right? Yeah. You flip it, but then when you draw this one, you erase this original and then draw this one based on the flip one and keep going back and forth. And then things like eyes and boobs and whatever that need to be like proportionate and straight, they'll straighten out when you do that. So, and the beauty of it for comic books is if you have a light table and you're tracing, you can then tape your board on top and then just ink right on the board. You know what I mean? And you don't have to erase pencil. So that's just a little advice Dave gave me, and it changed my life drawing. So I just thought I'd pass that information along since you didn't ask.
Well, I mean, see, that's super simple to do in Photoshop, like, just flipping it back and forth and making sure.
Right.
But so this one, I was based on a Bruce Timm drawing, like a sketch that he did, because I was looking for different pictures of Harley, and I mean, I'm not the biggest Harley Quinn fan, but I love Bruce Timm and I love his style. And I was like, this will be an easy thing where I can just paint it in one session. Because if I do like real realism, then that's going to take me days. And I'm like, I don't really have days. So I got it and I was like, yeah, this looks great. And then as I was painting it and I got to the end and I'm like, it looks wrong. It looks seriously wrong.
You can't talk about it this much. Now let me see. Let me see this.
Okay, let me grab it. It's still wet.
I'm gonna lie to you and be real nice no matter what I think.
No, give actual criticism. All right. So, oh no, there's a hair on it.
Let's see. Well, you got the face. I can see that from here. Okay. I see what.
So this one took like an extra hour to fix.
Oh no, it's nice. Could you make it yourself a little bigger so I could? It is nice. I did a Bruce Timm pastel drawing for my daughter when I was in college. I remember I did that of her and Ivy. I think it's good. I see what you're saying. Slightly a little crooked, but you know what? Everyone's gonna love it still. The color's great, the rendering's great. So good job.
Thank you. Well, so this one, it was very darker and like flat, and everyone's like, Anna, like it looks like she only has one boob, and I was like, okay, I'll fix it. It was the bane of my existence for an afternoon.
I'll tell you this, honestly, I don't think I would have noticed unless you brought it up. So it's minor. Good work.
Well, the chat definitely noticed.
Well, if it is terrible, you can only go up from here. That's silver lining.
Exactly. Oh, okay. Everyone's all, yes, Russell, I know you don't like it. It's fine. It's fine. Nice job on Harley Quinn. Well, thank you. I hope it dries all right. It is what it is. I got to the point where I was like, I'm just done, and I wanted to rage quit.
Oh, man. Yeah, sometimes that's how it is when you're working. You will have a drawing or a painting and it's torturing you. And I think I bail out on those though, and I just start over. You know what I mean? So kudos to you for sticking with it when it was just upsetting you. You know?
I was almost at that point. I'm like, I'm just done. I don't want to paint this stupid boob anymore. I don't ever want to paint boobs again. I'm only painting men from here on out.
I do like the eye series that you're doing. Those are really, really cool. A very interesting idea. You know what I mean? What prompted that? Because I see you doing them all the time on stream.
I wanted to get better at it, and I heard one time that the best way to master something is to do it 200 times, or it's either 200 or 250. Sure. And so I was like, what takes me the longest when I'm painting? Well, it's either eyes or lips, and I'm like, which one do I think people would enjoy watching more? And I'm like, an eye, because there was this one. I think it was on some talk show my mom was watching when I was younger, but it was one of the most common things that people doodle are hearts, stars, swirls, and eyes.
Yeah.
And so that's something that people are all fascinated by. And if you're just doing one thing on the face, what would be the most interesting to paint? It's most people would pick the eye. Okay. And so I was like, let me do this series so that way I can paint more, because I wanted to paint more. And I was like, I need to just do that because I'm getting so sucked into the internet and all this. I need a creative outlet. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it, and I'm going to accomplish something, because I did the Inktober challenge a year or two ago, and I felt so accomplished when it was done, even though it was really stressful. And I'm like, you know what? I felt accomplished by doing that. What if I did this and there's no time limit on it? I just have to finish it and see what happens, and then I'll have this whole big portfolio of eyes when it's done. And then everyone does like fan meet and greets, like at conventions and stuff. And I was like, what if I did, once I'm done with all these eye paintings, I did like a gallery show, and that'll be like a meet and greet. Like if you guys live in the area and you want to come see me and say hi and see all these paintings that you've seen me painting on stream, it'll be there. And then once it's done, I'll send everyone out their eyes.
Very cool. That sounds creepy, that last sentence. I'll send everyone their eyes. In a little jar of formaldehyde. I will send you your eyes.
I'll send them their eye paintings.
Oh my God. No, I think they're great. The eye is probably one of the most complex parts of the face, because you have the way that the brow bone is here. You have that, what is that, epicanthic fold or something, and the way the tear duct meet, that's the technical name, by the way. The way that goes around.
I only have one tear duct. Fun story. I was born without a tear duct in this eye. And so
Really?
I had to have surgery when I was a kid, and they took out some bones in my nose and they put like a tube in my eye, and then
Okay.
the tube broke and popped out. And so now I just have a hole.
Does your eye get dry constantly, or how does that work?
No, so each eye, what produces the water is on this side, and
Oh,
so this one is the one that drains it, so your eye doesn't like overfill with water. And so
yeah, okay.
before I had the surgery, since there was nothing to drain the water out of my eye would leak like I was crying. And so when you cry for like sadness or in pain or anger, these swell up, and so that's what causes you to cry, because it can't regulate the liquid in your eye.
I see. Okay, well, I'm glad that's fixed, I guess. Someone said you have a trick you can do with that?
I can. I can blow smoke out of this hole.
Oh,
Yeah. I've done it
that.
on air a couple times. And then once I met Cecil and John, this was actually kind of the origin of the Jack Show.
Oh, no.
I told them about this trick, and then they're like, can you like drink juice up of it? Can you blow out a candle with it? And I was like, yes.
I used to, someone in middle school showed me, like, if you don't do this, anyone, take dental floss and go, and then you can pull it out your mouth and it's in your nose and your mouth. I used to show people that because some older kids showed it to me. Do not do that. You can hurt yourself. But
yeah, that doesn't sound very pleasant.
I don't know what hey, listen, I was 12 years old. I don't know. So absolutely. There was a super chat, someone asking about Steven Seagal behind me.
Oh,
So,
let me see.
Yeah. If they don't like him, I also have Van Damme. So I do have a selection of 80s and 90s action stars I can make it.
Jason Samwick, thank you for the super chat. Why Steven Seagal in the background? Well, that's a young Steven Seagal in his prime.
Yeah, it's not big Steven Seagal. It's not new Steven Seagal. This is handsome young Steven Seagal from like Out for Justice or whatever. You know, he's good. His first 4 movies are excellent. You know, after that, off a cliff. But you know.
Yeah, you know, my mom and dad still liked it. They would watch it and laugh.
I do admit I watch his garbage movies and laugh too. I will admit to that. So
you know what? Sometimes it's just fun to turn on a movie that you're like, this is ridiculous in and of itself, but it's funny because they're all taking it so seriously.
Right. It is fun to watch garbage movies and look at your friend every 5 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yes. It's like, how are they reacting?
I gotta grab something though. If you think my Steven Seagal background is ridiculous, then you'll love my original Japanese $300 import Nico poster that my wife got me by the great Tori Oshi Orai. Sorry, my lights were flaring. This is a painted. I'm sorry, I'm trying to angle it so the light.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine.
Whatever. This is this was a gift from my wife, but this is a Japanese release of Above the Law, which was just an amazing movie. So yes, I'm a legit Steven Seagal fan. I love all that action and adventure. And you know, that ties into your stuff here with Star Wars. That was the first thing I fell in love with. How did you fall in love with Star Wars?
Well, so long story. My mother decided, even though I was a little girl, she was going to cut all of my hair off so I looked like a little boy. And I absolutely loved. I got a picture too. I'll show you because I was doing something for my cosplay and I found some of these pictures. I'm like, you want to see my OG cosplay? But so my mom, I had like Spock's haircut. I'm not kidding. And it was terrible.
Now, did your mom want a little boy? Is that why she cut your hair?
No, she wanted girls.
Okay, well, can I tell you real quick? I saw a picture from the late 70s or early 80s. My mom is holding a little girl in a pink winter jacket, a little baby.
Is that you?
And I'm like, Mom, who is that? She's all, oh, that's you. I'm like, what do you mean? She's all, I wanted a girl after your older brother was born. So she used to dress me as a girl for, I don't know, like the first year of my life or something.
Oh, no.
So, thank you, Mom.
I know. So this is me. This is a terrible quality picture. But so this is me in my little Snow White dress. This is my baby sister. And this is our friend, Vanessa. But so you see this hair?
Awesome.
And it stayed that way for years. My mom always cut off all my hair. And so actually this was a few, because Ellen's only like, I don't even think she's a week old in this picture. So this was right after I saw Star Wars for the first time. So what happened was my parents obviously they were going to have another baby. They couldn't take me with them to the hospital and they didn't know when she was going to pop out. So I stayed with some family friends for like a week. And then the second week I stayed with my aunt and she only had like one Disney princess movie because I was all about watching Disney princesses. If there wasn't a princess in the movie, I wasn't watching it. or if it wasn't like a cartoon, I wasn't watching
what
it.
are your Disney princesses? Because I'm 43.
Cinderella and Pocahontas.
Okay, because you're about what? You're about between 25 and 30. I hope I'm not going too old.
I don't give my age. I'm 9.
I was just wondering what your Disney.
I was born in the 90s.
Okay.
But yeah, it was always Cinderella and Pocahontas. But then I mean, I'll watch the other princess movies, but those were like my go-to. But so I think my aunt only had like The Little Mermaid, because all of her kids are a lot older than us.
Right.
So my parents had us later in life, and so all my cousins were already like in high school when I was born.
Okay.
But so she's like, Anna, I can't watch this movie again. And I was like, I don't care. We're only going to watch this. Because I was also one of those kids that if I didn't get what I wanted on the TV, I would sit and scream.
Oh, no.
I know. And so she's like naming off all these movies. She's like, do you want to watch this one? I was like, no. She's like, do you want to watch this one? I was like, no. She's like, do you want to watch Star Wars? I was like, no, I don't want to watch Star Wars. She's like, there's a princess in it. I was like, turn it on right now.
I see. Okay.
And so she shut me in a room. And I remember not even moving the entire time it was playing. I was like, this is the greatest movie ever. She's like, do you want to watch the other ones? I was like, there's more.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first Star Wars memories I have, I was in Honolulu, and I was like 4 years old. We were visiting my aunt in Hawaii. And I remember the yellow crawl, going up.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember seeing, I think I saw Jabba the Hutt or something. So that must have been 1983. I must have been 5 or something like that. But yeah, I think it was Return of the Jedi I actually saw in theaters and have the vaguest memory. Because I was born in 78. Return of the Jedi is 83. So that's crazy that you sat there and you didn't move the whole time you watched it. Did you watch the second movie immediately after, or like the next day, or what?
Well, she spoiled it. Well, yeah, it was immediately. So she, what was it? Because I was like, little girl, I like princesses. So princess marries the prince, right? So I thought Luke Skywalker was the prince. I was like, I want Leia and Luke to get married. And she's like, they can't get married. She's like, they can't get married. I was like, why not? She's like, because she's gonna marry Han Solo. I was like, I don't like him. He's mean to Luke. And she's like, well, Luke and Leia are twins. I was like, what? What?
Yeah.
And then she's like, yeah, and Darth Vader's their father. And I was like, you're lying to me, Aunt Susie. And so she's like, well, you want to watch the other ones and see? And I was like, okay. And then I'm watching the other one, and I'm like, okay. And then I was like, oh. And my mind was just blown. And so when my dad picked me up to take me home to meet my sister, I was like, Daddy, I want a lightsaber. And he's like, what happened to my little princess obsessed child?
Right. So you became hooked. That's awesome. Yeah. I don't know. I don't remember a time when I wasn't obsessed with Star Wars. It was what got me into drawing. I was telling you before the show, my grandparents had a Mexican restaurant for 50 years. When my grandpa got back from World War II and all that, they started that in the early 50s. And my parents were like in grad school and working, and my brother was off at kindergarten. So I would just hang out at it was La Famosa was the name of the restaurant, The Famous. And it was a tortilla factory restaurant. I'd hang out in the kitchen all day and pull out the butcher paper, from the big table and just draw space. I'd draw TIE fighters and X-Wings and Darth Vader. And I would so that's what got me. That's when I became very passionate about drawing. I'm 3.5, 4 years old here. So also when I was little, you have access to a Mexican restaurant kitchen. So you can just eat whatever you want and go over to the soda machine. Remember when you were little, you had to hold the soda with both hands, the cup?
Yes.
I would fill it to the top with soda, go into the back parking lot and throw the soda on the ground because I thought it looked like Spider-Man's web. And then I would look at the puddle and go, Spider-Man, nobody knows who you are. I would sing that.
Did your parents ever catch you just wasting soda?
No, but my mom would catch me watching He-Man, and she hated it because she thought Skeletor was like satanic, and I wasn't allowed to watch it. And I wanted to watch it so bad. And when she caught me watching He-Man, she would yell at me. So
that's always how it goes, though. The thing that your parents don't want you to watch is what you want to watch the most.
You know what sucks is once I became an adult, He-Man's, it's like on YouTube or whatever, and I'm like, I could watch it now if I want, Mom. I tried to watch it and I couldn't stand it, so I missed my window, I guess.
Aw.
Yeah.
Did you watch the new one?
Mm-mm.
Don't do it. It's terrible.
I heard about it, that it's all wokerized, and
it's so bad.
That's a theme we're going to get into later. Wokerizing things. That's my word, by the way. So
wokerizing, yeah. Well, to tie that in, so you were drawing Star Wars, and then somehow you just ended up drawing it professionally. How did that happen?
Well, long story short, I'll make this as quick as possible. When I'm 12 years old, I'm at my friend Sean's house. I see X-Men issue 1 that relaunched Jim Lee's new series with Chris Claremont, Scott Williams. And when I saw that cover of the Beast jumping over a rock, boom, you know, brain exploded. I'm like, who is this Jim Lee? I have to be his friend. I have to be him. I have to do this for a living. Anyway, I go through high school. I live in San Diego, and that's where Jim Lee's studio is. It's Wildstorm Studio. It's like just a few miles from where I live now. You know what I mean? And I want to work there the whole time. This is the mid and late 90s. I graduated high school in 96. And anyway, I go to college. I do some things. I get married, this and that. Jim Lee hires me at the end of 2007. He hires me personally, like his assistant. The one that called
How
me
did that happen? Did you meet him?
I was working independently on small comics for Image and independent comics and all that. And I would always go to Jim Lee's blog and just look at it. This is back when people had blogs, like 2004, 5, 6. And on Blogger, there was a blog called Gelato Medi that Jim Lee had, and it was the whole Wildstorm studio. And it was like being a fan of the Lakers or the Yankees or whatever. You have this awesome team, they're all stars, and you're just like, oh, I want to be on that team someday. And one night, like at 3 a.m, when I finished my work, I don't know, it was like an independent comic. He had a thing up there of a black and white Superman drawing by my friend J.J. Kirby, who already worked there for a few years, saying we need a new colorist. So I clicked through the blog post, and there were 59 entries already, and they sucked. You know, I was exhausted, and I didn't want to color it because it was 3 a.m, but I looked at him like, I'm better than all these people. I can't believe it. So I colored up the Superman drawing, and 2 weeks later, I'm at football practice. I was coaching my son's little league team, and someone calls me, and they're like, hi, I'm Eddie Choi. I'm Jim Lee's assistant. We'd like to offer you the job. And I'm like, who is this? Like that? You know what I mean? And they hired me. So I was in Colorado at the time because I went out there to go to college. My wife and my family, we were out there for 8 years going to school, and we were going to stay there and live there. But they said, no, the job is a studio job in San Diego. So we had to move back home. My wife is from here. I grew up here after my parents' divorce. So we moved back home to San Diego, what we were familiar with. And it was amazing. So I worked there the last 3 years. They were open all of 2008, 9, and 10. And then you remember in school, they'd wheel the big TV into the room.
Yeah.
They wheeled the big TV into the big coloring area at Wildstorm DC Comics, and they put it on, and it was a satellite feed or whatever of Jim Lee, Dan DiDio, and Diane Nelson, the former president of DC Entertainment, announcing the formation of DC Entertainment. This is September 2010. And basically telling us they're moving everything to Hollywood. New York's going to eventually go to Hollywood. San Diego's going to close and go to Hollywood. And that there would be jobs in LA for us if we wanted, or we could go freelance or whatever. So that was September. So like a couple days before Christmas, I guess resigned or whatever. It's like, I'm not moving my family to LA. Like you live, I don't know if you say online where you live, but you know LA, and you know that's a place to live. So and you know San Diego, I'm sure you've been here plenty. And you don't want to go from San Diego to LA. That's not a that is a downward move. Sorry, no offense to anyone in the chat.
I think everyone here is like unanimously. It's
okay. If you
LA
live in LA, I'll pray for
LA
you.
is okay to visit, like if you go to the beaches for like a day, or if you go into like the city to go like shopping.
No, I like to go up to Disneyland and then get the hell out of there, or go up to the Irvine Spectrum and get out of there as fast as possible.
Well, see, that's still Orange County. That's not LA.
Yeah, that is the OC. You're right. Yeah. But
but right now with everything, it's like I hadn't been to LA in a while because of all of the mandates and stuff. And I'm like, I don't want to deal with them crazy people. I mean, I barely leave the house as it is. I was kind of self-quarantined before it was mandated.
Before you were quarantining before it was cool.
I was. I'm very much a hermit. Like Obi-Wan living in the desert by himself, nobody bothered him. I'm like, that's like paradise, except I probably would get tired of all the sand. But no, like
I'm making a very long answer to how did I get on Star Wars. So the childhood dream, 3 years old, drawing Star Wars, all that stuff, working for Jim Lee. They announced all of DC's going Hollywood. I remember sitting there. The TV was in front of my desk because we had a huge area for the colorist. It was a big area, central area in the studio. And it was like 2 feet away from me. I'm looking at this TV, and I'm not going to pretend I knew the future like it would turn woke when Hollywood got a hold of it, but I knew something would happen. I thought, what does this mean now that the Hollywood accountants are going to have their eye on us and our books and how they sell? Because it was small before. It was just DC, and Warner Brothers at large didn't bother us. If books, as far as I knew, we never heard anything from corporate. We were just our own little independent thing. But it's like, oh no, they're going to make all these TV shows, all these movies, and that means the eyes are on us. So I knew something would change. I had no idea how bad it would become, though, with the wokerization, to have my horrible word there. So how did I get on Star Wars? My buddy, Carlos de Anda, amazing illustrator, worked for Jim Lee at Wildstorm since like 1994 or 5. He was one of my good friends there. We did Arkham City, the comic book together. We've done a lot of stuff together. We have similar sensibility. He lives 15 minutes from my house here in San Diego. Still, we get along really well. Both of our grandmas are from El Paso, Texas. We're both Mexican. I'm half Mexican. But anyway, he called me up one day and said, hey, Dark Horse has a new Star Wars series set between episode 4 and 5, where they're going to find Hoth, basically, is the point. Brian Wood, great writer, he's writing it. I'm drawing it. He's like, I want you to color it. So I was just over the moon. I was like, wow, this is amazing. Because when you're a freelancer, you scramble and scuffle for work. You're looking all over the place. And it went on to, I think the first issue had like 7 printings or something. Alex Ross was doing the covers. It was amazing. I can grab one right here.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me just grab
Thank you for the super chat, Russell. Russell says Under Siege was Seagal's 5th movie. Just saying.
Right. Yeah, I said his first 4 were great, but Russell's right.
And guys, while Gabe is grabbing that, I just wanted to share this. So we're going to get to this eventually, but just in case you guys don't know, Gabe actually has a comic that's live now on Indiegogo. It's called Truth, Justice, and the American Way. And we're kind of going through Gabe's origin story, and we're going to make our way to where he got, or like up to this point. But I just wanted to share this with you before we got too much into the story. And this is linked in the description of the video. And if my mods could share it, I would appreciate it. So I'll just, no problem. Oh, do you have the comic there?
I do, yeah. So here it is. This was Star Wars 2014, I believe, from Dark Horse. And I have a bunch of art. I'm sharing my screen, too. I pulled up some pages from the first 6 issues. But I did 20 issues of this. And then 3 months into this dream project at Dark Horse, we kind of got deflated because that's when Marvel announced that Disney was buying Star Wars. So I knew, like, oh, no. Because Randy Stradley, who's the editor forever at Dark Horse, he's still there. He was our editor. Oh, that's some of our artwork from issue 4 from this series right here. It was some of my favorite art I've ever done. But Randy told us, or the news report came out, whatever, that Disney had bought Star Wars. So I knew that was the end. You know what I mean? I knew they'd probably let us finish the series we were on or tell us to hurry up and finish it. And I do like to take credit for Star Wars buying. Disney's taking it because 3 months into our thing, 7 like printings of the first issue, I'm like, hey, we got a hit. So I think at least 1% of their decision was based on how well our comic was doing. I like to be grandiose and tell myself that anyway. But it was a lot of fun. And I don't know. I don't like what Star Wars has turned into under Disney. So maybe I don't want to take 1% of the ownership for that. Yeah, maybe it wasn't my fault at all. But here's what we got to do. So you can imagine being 3 years old, right? And you're in the back of your grandparents' restaurant, as you all have, and you're drawing space battles. And then one day, you're in your mid-30s, and this is what you're getting paid to do. And I think this art, to quit being silly, I think the art is so important. I think it really matters about who we are, our culture, what we tell ourselves about ourselves, and then what we teach children about our culture and all that. You can learn to be a hero. You can learn that you can be more than you ever thought of, that you ever thought you could be, that people doubted you, you doubted yourself. And I think we get that from stories. You know what I mean? We see someone like Han Solo. He's this cool, swashbuckling guy, but he's kind of selfish and greedy. But then he has that great character arc at the end where he comes back and helps Luke, defeat the Empire and all that. So,
yeah, he's a good person.
I think that, making this stuff woke is it's serious. It's very bad in a cultural way. It hurts our culture. And I don't want to get into politics here. I don't care if you're left wing, right wing, or whatever. That doesn't matter to me. I accept anyone, you know what I mean? But we know that politics is downstream from culture. We know eventually people will vote the way they are cultured, and that will control how our society is. So I think we want to have fun, action, and adventure that are things that everyone can agree on, things that everyone loves, that makes everyone laugh, that makes everyone thrilled and excited. That's where I want to be. I want to be that 3-year-old kid again, drawing in the back of that Mexican restaurant and going outside and throwing soda all over the parking lot.
To make it look like Spider-Man.
Right.
Jason Sandwick, thank you for the super chat. Gabe, have you met Jon Favreau?
I have not met him, but I think what he did with the first 2 Mandalorian seasons was pretty great. I haven't seen that Book of Boba Fett because everyone just was saying how bad it was, so I didn't bother. But I hope it's. Have you seen it, Anna? And what do you think?
Yeah, so this is how I describe what Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are doing. It's like Rian Johnson and J.J. Abrams just said, fuck this, we're going to destroy it, right? And completely taken it, and it was just full animosity at its finest. But so what Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are doing, it's like, I mean, you got kids. Did your kids ever like draw you a picture of like you and your wife and your house and your dog? And it's like a little piece of paper that's like stick figures. They drew you with like bright orange skin, the sun's in the corner. And it's like, it's not the best artwork in the world, but your kid drew it for you because they love you, and you put it up on your fridge. So that is what I think is the quality that they are putting out, but it's the heart that counts. So they're trying.
Okay.
I think it's some of the worst storytelling I've ever seen,
Right.
but they're trying and they're doing it with love. So I'm like, you know what? At least they're trying, as compared to like just getting a F you, we're going to destroy Luke Skywalker and destroy everything you ever cared about and make you pay for it and watch it for 2.5 hours, right?
Right. Yeah, I think you're right that they are trying, but I bet you that thought I had when I was looking at that TV and they're saying DC's all moving to Hollywood, I bet you their hands are so tied. And as an artist, I'm a writer, illustrator, colorist. I can make a comic book all by myself. I have all the skills to do every job in it. You don't want people bugging you. You want an editor to help you with maybe the big ideas about story. You want an editor to help you with spelling, and errors. But you don't need too many cooks in the kitchen. That's why we have that saying. And a lot of people in Hollywood, that your fans, most of them don't work in Hollywood, obviously, but they're not. They are what you think they are, guys. They're nice people. They're not remarkable or talented, most of them. When you come across an editor who's an amazing artist or writer, that's a rare thing in this business. I can name like 3 editors, and I won't name names because I don't want to hurt people's feelings and exclude, but I can name like 3 editors that I work with that I thought were outstanding artists, illustrators, or story people. You know what I mean? And the rest, it's like you're working with just average people that they kind of have an idea about story, but it's not the high level that we're doing. When you look at the art we can produce, the illustrations we can do, they're not on the same level. Most of the people working in Hollywood. So it would be like a football team where the players know more about the game than the coach. Like, how are you going to coach me when you don't know what you're talking about? So that is a huge problem in this entertainment industry. And that's a big part of what's hurting it, in addition to the political ideology of the woke stuff. But this book we did here with Brian Wood and Carlos, it was not woke.
It looks great.
It was just action adventure. That's all it was about. We didn't care about, any representation or any of that silliness like that.
Well, see, this image of Mando looks better than the entire show combined. Like, I would rather watch that show because it looks like it's going to be fun.
Right. But what you're seeing there on that page, since it was 2000.
I say Mando? I meant Boba. Sorry, guys.
Oh,
misspoke there. He's whatever.
It's all right. I knew what you meant. I wasn't going to say anything. But what you see there, why that's great, why that's reading great to you and resonating with you, is because what you see there is Brian Wood, the writer, Carlos Down, the illustrator, then me, the color guy. We're having that childlike fun because woke wasn't bothering anyone yet. And they were just, it was, so when you're making story decisions, it's like, well, what's fun and entertaining, not what is inclusive and all, postmodern and all that stuff. That stuff wasn't attacking our business so much. There was a touch of it, but it was an anomaly. You know what I mean? There was just a little bit of it. So.
Exiled Earth, thank you for the subject. Amazing work, keeping true to you. The wokeness will fizzle out, and true talent will be will be sought out. Thank you for the super chat. Well, so here, that's the thing. It's like when I stumbled my way into YouTube and I started meeting people and all this, you know what my biggest frustration with comics was? You would see this amazing cover, like rendered and drawn the way that you have up on screen, and you would open it and it looks like absolute shit. I hated that. And when you're in comic stores and it's like they're all sealed, so you can't open it to see what the inside looks like. And so that was one of my biggest frustrations. And so I'm like, I want the inside to look like the cover. And so when I would buy newer comics, because I remember I was in college when they did the whole reveal of Captain America, like saying Hail Hydra and all of that. Right. And so I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, let me go buy this and see if it's actually like that. Maybe it's like a bait and switch, like he's faking it. Right. And well, first off, it was out of my budget because there was like one left and it was a variant cover and it was $50. And I was like, the $50 for this? Ridiculous. Yeah. And I was like, I'll just find it online. But I realized I'm like, I like buying the older comics, the ones that are still in newsprint and all that, because usually the quality is the same level as the cover. It's not any of this other stuff. And so that was, my first little like irritation, I would say, like with comics. And then I was so busy with college that I didn't, I heard like the things that were going on in it. But again, I was in college in San Francisco. I didn't have much time to focus on it. But the Captain America saying the Hail Hydra really bothered me.
Oh, it's terrible.
And so,
it's terrible. And it's so, how Lisa Simpson is that little jerk on The Simpsons. She's just like, just defiant. The defining Lisa Simpson moment to me is Bart is on the Pop Warner football team, and she shows up in a helmet and pads, and she tells Flanders, the coach, I bet you didn't think a girl would play. And he's like, oh, no, we have 2 or 3 already. Come on. And then she doesn't want to play.
Yeah.
She wanted to do it because she thought they didn't want her to. And I feel that way about Hail Hydra. And I feel that way about Superman, the book I was working on before I went independent, how they got rid of truth, justice, and the American way. And it's like truth, justice, in a better world, or truth, I don't know, truth, justice, better tomorrow. Some just globalist, far left, postmodern nonsense.
Well,
And it got to me because here's why it got to me. I'm 3 years old. My parents are divorced when I get a little older, but I grew up like a lot of you, feeling like a loser, feeling like this, feeling some weird stuff about myself. And so when I worked on this book, I came up with, and it's a small thing, but to me it means so much. Princess Leia in this book, you see how she has the white and blue X-wing there, right? And then you see on this page here, we also came up with the black and orange or the black and red X-wings. We did that in this book. Right here it is right here. So we would come up with those. So I go to Disneyland, Galaxy's Edge, and there it is in 3D. And you have to understand the power of art. It's like I'm a 3-year-old, half Mexican, half Arab kid. I don't come from money or anything like that. And something I made in a comic book exists. I can now run up and touch it and then get thrown out of Disneyland for jumping over the display thing. But I could run up and touch it. Don't do that. Always follow the law. And then here I am with my cousin Allison. I've lost weight since then. Don't laugh at my belly. And then the blue and,
you're a dad. It's okay.
I'm a dad. Thank you. And there's the blue and white X-wing. So I go from 3-year-old kid throwing soda all over the parking lot to seeing something I made on a comic book page in 3D and in movies. And it's such a beautiful thing to have that in art and to be able to do that. So I think when they want to make all of our stuff woke and they want to ruin it and destroy it, we all get mad. You guys get pissed off. I get pissed. And we can't fall into that rage, I don't think. I don't think that helps anything. I think what we need to do, instead of just calling them, stupid idiots and getting so pissed, we need to tell people what we love. Why it's great, why it's important, why it should be fought for and preserved, and we need to make it. So if any of you out there are capable of making art, poetry, books, music, get to work on it. Make your beautiful art where the only thing you're serving is entertainment, not right wing, not left wing, not woke, not anything, but like make beautiful art based on the principles of art. And like they say in that Costner movie, if you build it, they will come. So that's what I'm doing. I got really pissed about Superman here. You guys, anyone seen this?
Yeah.
That's my work there. I was working on that book and I was talking to my dad. I was visiting my dad in September. And I'm like, Dad, I do not agree with what we're doing here. We were developing this character here. I forget her name. It's like Fault Line. It says on her chest. And in the emails with Tom Taylor, the woke writer, and John Timms, John did all kinds of different drawings of different females for this thing. And I don't like this haircut because it's on every last new black female character. And I told them in our email chain, I said, hey, what if we gave her like long blonde hair like Beyonce? I said, you never see that in a comic book hero yet on a black woman. And they disagreed with me. So we made, of course, a strong woman of color who, when she meets Superman, you see there in the third panel, she grabs his hand and judo flips Superman over. So it's just all this postmodern stuff like, yeah, she's better than Superman. I bet you didn't think a girl could play football. And they're not serving story. And they're insulting our culture here. My dad's an immigrant from Libya. They murdered my grandfather, murdered my dad's friends. I don't want to get too heavy here, but I've never met my family from there because my dad is on a kill list over there. Like if we went and visited, we might have been, disposed of like my dad's friends. So it starts small. And if they start ruining our culture and cancel culture and all this woke, no. So I say, instead of getting mad and yelling at these people and trying to fight them, we make something we love. And so me and a few of my friends, David Williams, the guy that taught me that flipping technique, came with this amazing idea of, let me show it to you right here, truth, justice, American way. If DC wants to fumble that football, I'm going to pick it up and run it the other way for a touchdown Are you kidding me? This is 6-year-old Gabe drawing Star Wars. You know what I mean? 3-year-old or 4-year-old, whatever. This is Anna watching her princess movies and all that. This is action and adventure. We're not telling you left-wing people are stupid. We're not doing that. We are just thrilling you, making you laugh, making you cry. And you've got masters doing this. I've been doing this for like 20-something years. Dave, the pencil artist, he's been at this for 30-something years. Ben 10, Superman, Batman, he's done everything. Gary Martin has been at this for like 40 years, the inker. So I'm the writer and colorist. Dave's the penciler. Gary's the inker. And this is on Indiegogo right now. I mean, look at that. Look at Justice hanging from that building right there. And those are the names of our characters, by the way. Truth is the woman, former Olympian, who found out she had special powers. And so she gave up her Olympic career because she knew it was unfair. And then you got Justice and you got American Way. So this is and I won't talk about these people. Good, bad, evil, villains, friends. I don't know. I want to keep
They look pretty villainous to me.
But we're just having fun. That's what this is. So, I mean, yeah, it's a sales pitch for sure, but I mean this. This is important to me. When I think about my dad coming from another country, when I think about my grandfather fighting in World War II, these are the men that molded me when I was a kid. That was that Mexican restaurant was my World War II grandfather. That was his restaurant. When I think about everything they did for me and how they could have died and all this stuff, and my grandmother and the women in my family too, of course, I can't stand up to some blue-haired feminist editor in Hollywood, really? When my dad stands up to a dictator and my grandpa fights in a war, really? I can't stand up to some woke people in Hollywood? Of course I can. So I told him to stuff it in February. You may have heard. And,
no, I watched the stream where you, on Ethan's channel, where you kind of snapped and you're like, I got to say my piece. And I think you were still working on Superman at the time, correct?
Here's how it went. I was at my dad's house. I said, Dad, I don't agree with this. I don't want to tell white, and I'm not white, so I'm not biased for white people. I said, I don't want to tell white kids they're stupid because they're white. I don't want to tell boys they're ugly and stupid because they're toxic or whatever. I don't want to do evil shit like that. And I said, what do I do? And my dad told me, don't quit. You have a contract that's low class. My dad told me, tell them you're going to finish your contract and then you're going somewhere else. So I wrote Jim Lee and all the bosses at DC a big email thanking them. 14 years as a freelancer, 3 years in studio. And they all praised me and thanked me. But then I was on Ethan's show last night, and Ethan was showing the art, and I'm like twitching emotionally, like watching him show the new Superman stuff and how they're getting rid of the American way. Look at that quote under Superman there on that beautiful drawing: "Truth, justice, and a better tomorrow." Like, get out of here with that. The American way, it matters. You know what I mean? And it's so insulting to our culture and the creators. So you can see the quote there. I need to get famous again and have a better quote because. It's a bunch of fucking nonsense. That's what Breitbart said. And then Fox News said, I remember I yelled this on Ethan's show, this one. It's like, I'm tired of this shit. So I'm tired of them ruining these characters. And I think your fans, that's a big part of the fandom menace. It's like, we don't want right wing. That isn't the problem. We just want fun, adventure. We want to laugh and smile. I mean, people go to entertainment and all this stuff to get away from the mess that's politics and Twitter and all that. We don't need it invading our comics. So
exactly, it's escapism.
Right. I put my money where my mouth is. I made, before COVID, as a freelance comic artist, not lying, I made a 6-figure salary working in comics. You know what I mean? And I sacrificed that for this culture because I believe in this with my background, with my religion, with my dad and all that stuff. I don't want to ruin American culture. I didn't build it. It was a gift given to me and given to all of us. I want to preserve it. So I put my money where my mouth is instead of just complaining. And I said, you know what, guys, I'm out of here. And DC told me after I was on Ethan's show and got mad, they said they didn't want me to finish the contract. But then they paid me out. So it's like, okay, you're going to give me money for work I don't have to do? That's awesome.
Yeah, no kidding. You're like, I don't have to draw Superman tonguing his, gay boyfriend.
Like, and I don't even care about gay. Like, gay people, they're real. They're God's children. They deserve to have stories written about them. But if you had any talent, woke writers, write new characters. Right? Make up a new black character. If you want to represent me because I'm Mexican and Arab, make a new character. Don't just turn Batman Mexican and Arab and then I feel represented. My hero growing up was Han Solo. I think Harrison Ford, that must be a British last name, right? I'm not a British guy, but I related to him because I related to his humanity. The only real diversity we have, guys, is not our sex, sexual orientation, race, gender, whatever. The only real diversity we have is our spirit and our mind. The way we think and then the way we act. Everything else is bigotry to say. Like, oh, we need a black guy. And I would say, well, which one? Because all the black guys I know, they're different. they're not all just cookie cutter, because that would be
Yeah.
stereotyping people. So I'm ranting here, so you can cut me off.
No, you're fine. Well, no, I mean, one of the things that drives me absolutely crazy is when they say that it's the first time we're going to have a superhero that's gay, or in Star Trek specifically, they're like, oh, this is the first trans character. I'm like, that's funny, because there was a trans character in 1966. If you actually watch Star Trek, there's aliens that come over from the Andromeda galaxy, and they don't have gender, and so they experiment by going, because they look like little octopuses, and they'll pick, what is it like to be female? What is it like to be male? Like, what are these traits and these, things that come with that? And I'm like, yeah, that was a concept of experimenting with gender back in the 60s, and then they did it again in the Next Generation. They've done it in actually almost every single Star Trek rendition. So when they say this is the first trans character, I'm like, they've been doing that since 1966. You guys got to get like a new thing. And even before that, I mean, you just have to look at history. And with the Truth, Justice, and the American Way, I mean, that is a staple. This just shows that they don't know very much about Superman, I'm assuming, because I'm like, Superman came to America, right? He raised in Kansas, and there's the alternate universe where he didn't land in America, where he actually landed in the Soviet Union, and he has, the what is it, the hammer and sickle?
Yeah.
And I'm like, so that's why, he's an American superhero. There's characters from everywhere else as well, if you actually looked into it, but I don't know.
No, I agree with you. You're completely right about the Americanism. Saying that American is exceptional and all that is not arrogance. I think when people take that as arrogance, no, it's reverence. It's literally thinking, not just casually, but literally thinking about my grandpa in a Higgins craft landing on beaches in the Pacific War. If you've read anything about the Pacific War, it was brutal. It was hell on earth.
Oh yeah,
just people dying, guts.
Sorry to interrupt you. Have you been to the Midway? Because you're in San Diego, right?
Oh yeah, I toured the Midway like 2 years ago. It's fantastic. It's get on. It's like 70 years old now, right? Built in the 50s or whatever, and it's amazing to see an aircraft carrier that old. What human technology can do, and you think, yes, our culture built that, and Star Wars matters to our culture, and Superman matters because these things inform us and they persuade us. You know what I mean? So if you say everything is nihilistic and America doesn't matter in our culture, that Western canon, just forget America, Europe and South America, all of Western canon, the Greek philosophers, if you try and say Christianity, I mean, that's a huge part of our thing. If you say it all doesn't matter and it just doesn't, postmodernism, whatever, then you're destroying the recipe that built all this abundance. It's like, where do you think this clean water and paved roads, where do you think they came from? They came from people that believed in this stuff. Because you will act on what you believe in. So if you believe in nihilism and selfishness and postmodernism and wokeism, then you're going to act on it and you're going to destroy this culture. So like you said about Superman being from Kansas, I wrote to Jim Lee. I have his phone number. He's the one that hired me. We're friendly. I would still be his friend. I'm not going to be a jerk and hold a grudge, but I told him, hey, man, he's an immigrant from South Korea. And I told him, South Korea didn't give you everything you have, make you a millionaire, vice president of Warner Brothers. America did, and this culture. How dare you do that? And I told him, the thing that makes Superman important is not his ability to fly or shoot lasers out of his eyes, or he can hear stuff or freeze breath. That's not what makes him a hero. What makes him a hero is his generosity, his compassion, his restraint, his mercy, his values and character.
Yeah, because he could have just simply been like Homelander, right? Like, very simply, you give a kid the superpowers of a god, they could go bad just like that, and he doesn't.
And what made him have all that character? His American Christian farmer parents. It doesn't get more American than like the middle of Kansas. That's why they picked it. The original creators, they were trying to make a point about his Americanism. So if they don't want a superhero to be American, that's fine. Make another character that isn't from here but has the same power. But no, to me, I think this analogy I use. Say at McDonald's, beef, hamburgers, fries, soda, right? And then a guy comes on and says, you know what? We don't have any fish sandwiches. A smart person would say, let's add one fish sandwich. The woke person would say, let's take all the beef away, and now we got a double beef burger. We got a Big Mac with beef, and if you replace the best seller with something that's more like on the fringe, on the edges, you're going to destroy your business. So go ahead and make your diverse characters on that, but make new ones. Show me you have talent. Show me you can do it. So instead of getting mad and being focused on these people and be grumbling all day, you look on the screen here. This is what we're doing. If I want heroes like this to exist, then I need to not help make the woke ones, and I need to make these. You know what I mean? And these are what you get: action and adventure, and a guy that was willing to put his money where his mouth is. So would it be crazy for me to ask all of you to either retweet this, take a look at it, and if you love it, buy it. Please do, because you'll be supporting me and supporting this culture. So I humbly ask that of you, and I'd be honored if even one of you bought this. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and guys, I have it linked in the description of this stream, and I've also been putting it in the chat. And I'll put it in again if you guys want to go check this out. And we'll go through the Indiegogo a little bit. I just wanted to touch on something before I pulled it up. One of the things about Superman is you got to think about when he was created and the way that the world was. Because just looking, and I think I get a little bit depressed looking at the future and like current days, because I feel like I've come from a generation where we used to be proud to be Americans and we used to be proud of our country, to now it's like everything that I was taught, it's like, oh, look at how bad everyone is. Look at how bad this country is. Look at how bad we are to the world. But then if I look back at like everything that I used to watch, and my parents are a little bit older, so everything that they had, like, I mean, my mom still has like a little hand vacuum from the freaking 40s that works perfectly. Right. And it was made in America. So much stuff used to be made in America, and now we've outsourced it. So when you get new toys, they're like the cheapest plastic in the world that'll break. But if you get older things, they'll last for freaking ever. Yeah, because it used to be about quality versus quantity, and now it's switched. And there's become this thing in our culture where it's trying to destroy our ideals and what we used to stand for. Right. And so that's one of the reasons why I love, like, I'm a big DC fan. I was okay with Marvel, but I feel like DC was what I gravitated towards because I love Superman and I love Batman and I love the Justice League. And I mean, not to say that there aren't characters. Exactly. Some people, I don't know, crazy people. But I mean, there are characters that are from obviously not America. Look, Jean the Martian, he's not from America. Wonder Woman's not from America. Dr. Fate, I don't believe, is from America. Right. I'm thinking he's not from America, is he? No, I think he's British. It's been a while. Dr. Fate was the first comic I ever read, so.
Right. I get your point, though. Yeah. Who knows where he's from, but you're right. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah. Let me read a couple super chats and let me.
I'm going to grab something from here because I want to show you what you were talking about. But I'm listening. I'm right here.
Oh, you're fine. I'll read a couple of these super chats. Waylon Todd, thank you for the 10-pound super chat. Thank you. I appreciate your queen's monies because they are worth a lot more than American dollars. I hope your queen is doing okay. I heard she wasn't feeling too well. I'm not a soy lover. Say in hashtag 48 buy stuff. It's like now from EU. We don't want the American way. We want good art, real books, not be American, ? Well, I think we're talking specifically about the Superman aspect of it because that was true to Superman's character. It'd be like somebody did a graphic novel about me and they took away the fact that I was Portuguese, right? So everyone here that knows me, that knows my channel, you guys all know that I'm Portuguese and that my grandma immigrated from Denmark. So I have both of those flags. I don't know if you know this, Gabe. Somebody, like, there's always one guy usually that throws a temper tantrum. They're like, if you're not Danish, you can't have the Danish flag. And I'm like, what?
Those Danes, they don't mess around.
Well, no, it's never a Danish person. Usually the Danish people get excited. But so that's kind of the thing. It's like, imagine whatever you guys are in the chat, them taking what, whether you're proud of your heritage, your hair color, your skin color, something about your personality, and then changing it because that thing is now deemed bad. So they'd be changing a part of you. So that's why we're specifically talking about the American aspect of it, because we're talking about Superman. I don't know if you noticed, we didn't mention any of that when we talked about Star Wars.
Right. Yeah, there's no American way with Star Wars, and there shouldn't be. That doesn't make any sense. You're absolutely right.
Exactly.
So, and again, yeah, it's just about heroism. We don't have to get nationalistic on that one. But it's kind of silly, but you were talking about your mom had an old vacuum. I got this for Father's Day like 2-3 years ago.
Amazing.
Doesn't work. This is my grandpa's from like the early 80s. This is the one I use all the time. So when you talk about stuff like being cheap and crappy now and the culture being destroyed, I do see that with even like consumer products like that, like the vacuum you were saying. So I thought that was a funny example.
Well,
But,
even like if you go to antique stores, like the fans still work, the vacuums still work,
Yeah.
some of the TVs still work, and you get it. Like, we actually bought a TV right before we moved into this house, so maybe like 2 years ago, we bought a new TV because our other one went out. It started getting the black dots on it and like started messing up. And so we're like, really? And that TV was probably only a couple of years old. So it's like they don't make things to last anymore because then you won't buy it. And I think that was actually a big problem back in like what the 50s and 60s was. They made these things so well that after you bought one, you didn't need another one ever. So
and I think, you know, they obviously they want it to break down so it has money. But I also think if you say America sucks and our culture and our Western culture sucks, that will permeate into people's subconscious, and it will have they will do a bad job. They will make stuff that sucks because, again, like I said, you will act on what you believe. And if we make Star Wars that tells people America sucks, and we make Superman books that tell people you suck for being a Westerner or being white or whatever, it will get through to them eventually, and then they will perform poorly because they think they suck. So I don't want to do that. I want a book that tells people no matter how hard your heart has been broken, you can come back from despair and have victory. You can overcome fear. You can overcome all these things if you fight. That's, you know, that's not just the American way. That's just the Western way. That's the way of humanity. That's the story of humanity is thousands of years of people going through all kinds of hardship and never giving up to get us here. We owe them our ancestors. So yeah, I definitely don't want to hurt culture by making bad stuff. No way. I don't want to tell people.
Well, that's another thing. It's people don't take pride in their work anymore. Like I was saying earlier, when you get the cool cover of a comic and then you open it and the inside shit because they just need to get it done for a deadline. Right. They don't take pride in their work anymore. And my friend John Malin says that all the time. It's like, this should be your best work. You know, you shouldn't just half-ass it just to get it done. It should be the best thing that you could possibly do. Yeah. And so that's why I like a lot of these independent comics, and the ones that I've gotten, you know, for the most part, I've actually really enjoyed. And it's like, you can tell the art is there, the quality is there, and the story is there, because when this is what you got, and it's not like DC where it's like they put out a shitty book, they lost nothing, maybe a couple sales, but they're still DC, so they'll make money. Whereas if you do an independent project and it sucks, that's your livelihood, that's your name, that's your reputation.
All right. Yeah, I'm standing. I got my name right on this thing. You know what I mean? I want to be proud of this, and we're going to deliver. I've never missed a deadline in 20-something years of being in this business. So this book will get to you on time and everything. But yeah, I was talking earlier. I don't want to, you know, tell white people they're terrible, tell Westerners they're terrible. But you know what else I don't want to do? They think they're being good to minorities, women, gay people, people of color, whatever. They're not. They're being bigots to them too. When you're black and I just tell you you're a victim and you can't succeed because the white man's going to get you, I'm abusing you. That's racist towards you. When I tell you because you're gay or you're trans or whatever that you're a victim and you can't make it because of the evil patriarchy, I'm victimizing you when I do that. And I'm not even doing it to help you or because I love you. They're doing it so they can pat themselves on the back because I'm a hero. I helped out transgenders or whatever. So I'm now using someone who is in a minority group that actually may have problems with bigotry or something, and I'm using their identity to praise myself. It's sick and it's disgusting. And you know, if you want to do that, mainstream entertainment, do it without me. You know, I'm not going to do that. That's horrible. I'm not going to do that to people. So we're going to have fun. That's what we're going to do.
Well, having fun. Let's segue. Do you want to kind of give the elevator pitch on your book? I know you kind of talked about it a little bit earlier.
I mean, we had a little paragraph description there. Dave, the pencil guy, he gets really on me if I give too much away about the plot. But I suppose I could read that. It's under this cover, which I just love. I love our guy Justice. If you love Charles Bronson killing people like I do, you're going to love that character, Justice. But the story there, it's a little small on my screen, but let me see if I can just bring it up here, and then
I can read it. The story. We proudly present to you the bombastic, action-packed adventure you've been waiting for. Truth, Justice, and the American Way are the world's most beloved superhero team, the Honor Guardians of America. Their world is shattered when disaster strikes. They are left with little hope and even less resources. In order to set things right, the Honor Guardians will have to find the strength and resolve to overcome grief, despair in a world that now hates them. Oh, snap. The world turned on them?
Maybe. We'll see. To find out. And what you're getting here, thank you for reading that, Anna. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
You're getting here, you're getting in on the ground floor of a superhero universe. Dave and I and Gary, the pencil, ink, and then color writer, we want to go all the way with this. We want to keep making this book and expand it out and have a whole universe and hire our friends to write other stories. I could see, and I haven't talked to him about this, I could see Chuck Dixon writing that Justice character. Remember how Chuck Dixon wrote all that great Punisher stuff? I could see Chuck Dixon doing that. I haven't talked to him. I'm just kind of thinking out loud. But yeah, I could see doing other books with more characters. We have ideas for all kinds of heroes. But, if they want to destroy these universes of mainstream comics, then we'll just make our own. I'm not going to, because I think to yell at them to like, change it back, I don't think it's going to happen. I think that ship sailed. Maybe it'll change back. But I know if I just scream about that forever and fight with them, I'm just contributing to the hatred and the fighting and all that. And it'll probably never happen. I'm wasting my time. So I might as well do it myself if they won't. So. Hold on.
Am I here?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Am I back?
Yeah.
My screen went black.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just staring at me like, what did he just say?
No. My screen, my internet is notoriously shitty, so sometimes it just short circuits.
Okay.
Let me read a couple super chats before we get back into this. Deano, thank you for the super sticker, and it's a thumbs up. Thank you. Jason Sandwick, thank you for the super chat. Most people that are woke are fake woke. They just want to push a perversion of normal things. You're so correct, Gabe, and that Star Wars girl. Yeah, and you'll find that on Twitter, is they don't actually believe what they're saying. They just follow the trends. But that's part of the problem, is they're a mob, right? It's like zombies, right? They'll just do whatever they're told to do, whatever they're supposed to do, with absolutely no regards to anyone else but themselves and what they deem is the right way.
Yeah, I have a theory about woke, and one of the main engines driving it is a culture, almost a religion of narcissism, where their entire it's predicated on two tenets: no discomfort and pleasure at all times. And the way that translates into art is, I won't just make art that I love and is fun because, what if someone disagrees with it and criticizes me? Then I'll feel discomfort. So I'll look around the room and make sure I have the right opinion so people will praise me. And then I can feel like a god and I'm just being bathed in all this praise. And I think that's why they're cowardly and they have all these lockstep opinions where no one will disagree, because that's where cancel culture comes from. You had an illegal idea or an illegal opinion or whatever. And again, you think I'm kidding, but this is how it starts and ends up like my dad's country of Libya, where they take away Sharif, my dad's friend, in the middle of the night because he had the wrong opinions. He said the wrong things. And when you extrapolate cancel culture all the way out, you take Sharif away in the middle of the night and then throw him on his parents' doorstep in a bag, chopped to pieces. Now, nothing like that is going on here, but how do you think it started? You think it just started that way violently? No, it grows over the years. So cancel culture is something we have to take on, and we don't take it on by fighting them and yelling at them. We take it on by making way better art, by just showing them up completely, by hitting that home run into the parking lot. And we don't want to defeat them. What we want to do is we want to convert them and say, hey, look, we're not being woke. We're just having fun. Why don't you come over here, calm down with the purple hair and the woke, and come have fun with us? That's what I would like to do, is unite people. You know what I mean? The far leftists, I don't want to defeat them. I want to convert them. I want them to come and buy my book and have fun. You know what I mean? So, and that way we can all just chill out and go back to 80s, 90s style Steven Seagal nonsense. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, just have fun.
Yeah, just action and adventure. Let's do it.
It's a great message. Kim Morton Longrad, thank you for the super chat. As someone from Norway, proud that you are part Scandinavian, Danish, Swedish, Norwegian. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, just don't yell at me about my flags. That was one thing that I was like, really? Like, so I'm not kidding you, Gabe. Somebody's like, are you Danish? Because if you're not, you need to take that flag down. Right?
Would you be allowed to eat a Danish if you weren't Danish?
I know. It's like, I bet that person eats Chinese food, and I bet you they're not Chinese,
right.
You know?
Right. Yeah. Oh my God. What do you think they call a Danish in his land? Is it just, it's kind of like Canadian bacon. Do they just call it bacon in Canada? Right? Because they're already there.
That Canadian bacon wasn't bacon. I thought that was pork.
Well, I'm just saying, is it Canadian bacon when you're in Canada, or is it now just bacon because you already know you're in Canada? I don't know. These are weird thoughts. You don't have to answer it. I'm just thinking out loud.
Well, you want to know something funny? So Portuguese, so like the Portuguese from the Azores, which is where my family migrated from. So a lot of Portuguese stopped in Hawaii. And so, Portuguese, actually, they invented the ukulele. a lot of Hawaiian food is actually Portuguese food. And like a lot of the land is actually named after, you know, Portuguese people. But when tourists would come, they didn't want to buy Portuguese sweetbread in Hawaii. They wanted Hawaiian food. So if you ever go to the store and you see those orange packs of Hawaiian bread, that's actually Portuguese sweetbread.
Really?
Yeah.
I love that stuff. I just had some of that last week with some chicken strips inside of it. It was delicious.
Yeah,
Yes.
a lot of Hawaiian food is actually Portuguese food. If you go to on Honolulu, if you go, or no, is it Oahu? That's the name of the island, right?
The big island, right?
Yeah. No. The most popular one that everyone goes to, I think it's Oahu.
Oahu.
Is the name.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you go to a part of it, there's like where they filmed Jurassic Park and Godzilla, Pearl Harbor, that like section that's owned by a family. It's a Portuguese family that was gifted that land from like the Queen of Hawaii.
Okay, very cool. Have you ever been to that part of Hawaii, or have you been to the Portuguese, or have you been to the Azores, where your people?
I have not been to the Azores. I have wanted to go all my life, but have not gone for family reasons I can't get into on the internet. But it's funny because I do still have family that live over there, and it's funny because my boyfriend's Portuguese too, and his family is from the Azores. So we have family on like the islands and stuff. And one of my great uncles bought one of my great grandfather's houses, and he's been restoring it. So we get pictures from that. But yeah, totally off topic. But
no. I mean, it's not off topic, because when we talk about Star Wars and Truth, Justice, American Way, we're talking about our heritage. That's what we're talking about. When you talk about your grandfather's home, it was built by our culture, our Western culture. So yeah, I don't think it's off topic at all. I'm a food guy. I'm because my grandparents had a Mexican restaurant. My dad, so like that's my mom's side, the Mexican restaurant. My dad, the Libyan guy, he's been a gourmet chef for almost 50 years now. So if I was going to have Portuguese food, what is the comfort dish? Because I don't know the food very well at all. I love the Hawaiian bread, but what is the go-to dish? If I'm going to your grandma's house, Anna, she's going
to make you linguiça.
And I love to eat. You know,
so she's gonna make you linguiça, and then
sausage, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's the best. It's Portuguese sausage. It's so good. I live off that stuff when I go home. I was like, just make it for me so I can inhale it.
Do you eat it on a big pile of rice, or is it in soup, or how do you eat it?
Oh no, there's not. I'm trying to think of a Portuguese dish that does have rice. No, so there's a lot of one of the things that Portuguese people do is we like soggy bread. So like we dip like me, people don't like this, but it's like any sandwich I have to have soup to like dip my bread in, and like my sandwich and all of that.
That makes sense to me. I love that.
So the big one would be like soupish. I don't say it right. They say soupash with a thick accent, and then there's like these beans that go along with it. But so there's a big Portuguese celebration in September, and so that's when like people actually come from the Azores to the celebration that's in Northern California, where I'm from. It's a big Portuguese community, and we have soupish, which is like meat that's like it's in like this meaty kind of juice and with cabbage, and then you have another bowl that has like all of the bread that is already soggy from the meat juice, and then you take a piece of bread, the soggy bread, you put the meat on it, you scoop it out. It's kind of like if like roast, like the texture of that, and then you put that in cabbage.
I regret asking you any of this. I haven't eaten yet today.
I haven't eaten yet either, and I'm so hungry.
I had like a third of a coffee here, and I'm just like, all right, Anna, I gotta go to my kitchen.
I need food.
I gotta go eat. You talk about meat in like gravy with bread?
Oh, it's so good.
There's nothing better.
It's so good.
On Valentine's Day, I took my wife to Del Frisco's Double Eagle Steakhouse. Wanted to go there for years, but we've never gotten there. And I ate a ribeye the size of my head. I got the tomahawk. You know, the one with the bones, the rib bones coming off. Yeah. Did you go anywhere cool on Valentine's or no?
We went to Cheesecake Factory. So my sleep schedule gets really messed up because of all my streaming and stuff. So what happened was I was going to bed at like between 10 and 1 p.m. And then I would wake up at night and then start working on videos and get ready for the day. So I'd work all night. And so that was kind of the sleep schedule I was on Valentine's Day. So I woke up at like 7 and I got ready and we left the house at 8. And everything, of course, is closing because it's a Monday. So we got to Cheesecake Factory just in time to have our pasta. But I woke up early So I was exhausted, but so I came home and went back to sleep. So it was very exciting.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I don't know if it was George Will, or I don't know what philosopher it was, but he says there's no love in life more sincere than the love of food. So, you know, chocolate could never do something so wrong to me that I would turn my back on it forever.
Well, they could lecture you about how the M&M skin color is exclusive, so they're gonna make it.
You know what? Now that I've decided to focus on making my own art instead of yelling at crazy postmodern leftist feminists, I'm so much happier. And when they do woke stuff like the woke M&Ms, I'm not faking it. I have these huge belly laughs when I read the new headlines. I'm like, you know what? I want more of this. I want them to be even crazier. This is actually funny to watch.
It'll get you more sales because people will look at that and be like, I don't want this. And they'll see this and like, wow, this looks dope.
You want to share my screen really quick? I think people get a kick out of this. So there she is.
That just makes me hungry.
There she is, and all her, and behind it on that plate chopped up was like a caramelized bourbon pork belly.
Oh,
it was ridiculously good. And my beautiful wife, Miss Adrian, I got to tell you about ride or die and heritage and family. This woman married me when I worked at Toys R Us, and I was 18 years old. So I owe her a ton.
Well, you got married young.
Oh yeah. Well, I am half Mexican, and I had a child early. I did not escape teenage pregnancy. You know what I mean? So, but my wife did. She was 20 and I was 18. So.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah. She was hanging around the high school in a van. She told me she was looking for her lost dog.
Hey, it worked. It worked.
Yeah, it did. 25 years, but I'm only 43 years old. So my daughter's a stand-up comedian. She's been doing it since she was 16. She's going to be 25 in a few weeks. And one of the first, I would help her write jokes when she was young. And one of the first jokes she wrote was like, my parents were talking to me about abstinence and drugs and all this. So, but my dad's, 36 and I'm whatever she was, 14, or my dad's 38 and I'm 16 or whatever the math is. I'm an artist. And she's like, so that makes me a Mexican. You know what I mean? Like, because I really butchered that joke because I didn't do the math right. I swear it's funny. She's the one that
I get the joke.
It was funny. I butchered it. That's okay. I'm a dad. I'm allowed to butcher jokes. In fact, it's part of my job. It's part of the charm. So
I'm saying, does she grow up at a comedy store?
She worked at the Comedy Store in Hollywood on Sunset for a year. She lived in Hollywood. She tells amazing stories about Los Angeles, about how terrible it was living in Hollywood, how funny and terrible it was. She and I do a show once a week called Father-Daughter Dance. We just come on here, and I've turned it into a show where she's just allowed to rant and make fun of things and make fun of Hollywood. But she's doing very successfully at the comedy scene down here in San Diego. She Aviator Surge says, work joke execution ever. No, I've done worse, friend. That was bad. I've done worse on my jokes. Don't worry about it. So, no, I'm so proud of my daughter doing stand-up and all that. It takes a lot to get up on stage, and she flames out once in a while, but she usually does pretty good. She's very funny.
You should introduce her to Chrissy Mayer. She does stand-up as well. She's a up-and-coming YouTuber. Very proud of everything that she's accomplished.
Is that someone I can just contact, or is that a friend of yours? I don't know.
It's a friend of mine. She's on Twitter. I can get you guys connected if you're.
DM me. My daughter would love to talk to her. But my daughter's very funny. She's very funny. She loves to do crowd work and roast people in the crowd and all that. And I love to see that happen. The people squirming when the comedian goes after them. So. It's funny.
Yeah, I don't really go and watch stand-up. The last time I went to one was actually when I turned 16. Rob Snyder came to town and my mom got us tickets.
I love him in Deuce Bigalow, Male Gigolo.
Yeah. That
is such a horrible, funny movie. That's one of those movies that we were talking about. They're so bad and you watch them and then you just look at your friend the whole time,
Yeah.
See their reaction.
With the fish. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I loved all of his movies, like Hot Chick. The animal, oh my God. Even like when he would always have his little cameos in Adam Sandler movies, and then they had their falling out, which is unfortunate because I thought they were hilarious together.
Yeah, no, and Rob Schneider's pretty based too. He's against woke and cancel culture and all that. If you read his stuff on Twitter and all that, so that's good. Hence
why him and Adam Sandler are no longer friends.
Oh, I thought Sandler was based too. I didn't know that. So who knows? I don't know these guys. But J-Dog, something in Japanese, I don't know his whole name, says Gabe should be on Chrissy's podcast.
You should, yeah. I can get you guys in touch. You would.
I would love it. I would love it.
Yeah. So Chrissy kind of does like hour-long like interview shows for her Chrissy Mayer podcast. Yeah, but I'll get you guys in touch after we get off air.
Okay.
But
Yeah, Texas Mofo says push your comic on Chrissy's channel. Must.
You
Thank
should,
you,
yeah.
Pat. Thank you guys for the suggestion. Yeah, I would love it, and to get my daughter in touch with her. I want to. My kids are at that age right now where my son is like, I'm having a hard time remembering how old they are sometimes.
Yeah.
He's 23. My daughter's easy because my wedding anniversary, whatever that number is, I know that's what she's about to turn. You know, hey, you couldn't see my wife's stomach at our wedding. She still had a flat stomach, so give her a break. But what was I gonna say? I don't know what the hell. Oh, they're at that age right now, early 20s, where they're just getting off the ground, and it's a precious moment, and you're like, I didn't ruin their lives. They're gonna make it. My son is doing like high level corporate real estate. My daughter's getting on stage and now going to do like I think 2 professional stand-up shows this spring. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't ruin these human beings. You know, so I don't know if you talk about your family life. Do you have children or do you not talk about that?
No, I don't have children. I am not there's no diamond on this hand yet, so no babies are coming out of my body.
There you go.
But no, my boyfriend has a daughter, and so she's my stepdaughter. But I've known her since she was 3. So we were friends for a long time before he finally told me he liked me, and I was like, "Really, Bo?" But so I met her since she was really, really little, and now she's 11.
Whoa!
Or no, is she 11 or is she 10?
Yeah. See, I was just like, is my son 22 or 23? And I'm like, he was born in 99, so then he's 20. He just turned 23. So
well, it's just crazy how big she is now, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And her mother is like a giant, like she's a giant Amazonian woman from Peru, and we're just talking about it, like she's gonna be taller than us soon. Like she went from being like super little, and now she's like almost at eye level with me, and I'm like, stop growing, stay little.
That's never gonna happen. You don't look very tall. You're not.
I'm not. I'm a hobbit. I'm a very small human.
So you have those hairy feet, like the tops of your feet are all.
I do. It's part of the joke. It's like I'm Portuguese, so there's a lot of hair everywhere. You know.
Good. Well, good. My Libyan grandmother, Karia was her name. I never met her. Thank you, Gaddafi. 6'4", that woman. So that's a tall
Holy
woman.
crap.
Yeah, so that's how tall I am. So I'm not even taller than my grandma. I'm the same. But my daughter is like 5'11", 5'10". My daughter
Oh my
Minnie.
God, she's giant.
My daughter Minnie is me if I were female. My son Peter is my wife Adrian if she were male. It's very funny how that worked out. So
Is your wife tall?
Oh no, she's a foot shorter than me. She claims she's 5'4". I don't know about that. She seems very short to me.
So is your son short, or did he get the height?
No, he got my height saved him from being short, because on that Mexican side, the Native American Mexican, they're little. Some of them, you know, her dad is real small. No, my son is actually 5'11" and a half. I call 5'11" a liar's height because so many men say they're 5'11" and they're not. So, but my son is actually one of the few people on earth who is actually a little bit over 5'11". But he's a handsome devil. He's thin and, you know, and very athletic. He's got a 6-pack. I like to have a keg instead. You know, it's just easier.
Yep, more. Tell him that he'll upgrade to the keg when he gets older.
Yeah. No, he looked like me when he was young, but thank God he got his mom's. He got a lot of her good looks, and he got her hair. My wife has that Native American Indian, that like horse mane, you know. My daughter has it. My son has it. I'm not bald, but it's just I don't have a ton, you know, like I would like. And my son has gorgeous wavy black hair, and like
you're like, you lucked out, boy.
Every time he shows me his phone, he's like, "Hey, Dad, look at this meme. Look at this TikTok." I just see girls' names going across the top. Text. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh,
little stud muffin there.
Like, okay, Mr. 23-year-old, we'll see. But I love my kids so much, and you know, and I'm doing this for them. You know, I am. I want them to be proud of me, and I don't want to make garbage, make ugly art, tell people that America sucks and our culture sucks. It doesn't suck. It's the greatest. And not just America, Western, it's the greatest thing in the history of the world. It's done more good for people anywhere on earth. And again, when you say you love the West and America, you're not denigrating other cultures. I'm revering this one. I'm appreciating it and respecting it. So I do want to do what was done for me by my grandpa and grandma and everyone before me. I want to make sure that I build the future for people who built, you know, to pay back the people who built this world for me. So, having kids is just a true joy. I highly recommend it. I would recommend people wait till they're older than 18. I didn't. That did complicate matters.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So, yeah.
But at least you get more time with them, right?
That's true. And now we're the young, cool parents that can travel and do things. And and my best friend, he's a day older than me. We met in 4th grade. He's got like a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. And I just laugh at him now because he'll come over with bags under his eyes and he's all tired. And I'm like, ha ha ha. Who's so that teenage pregnancy worked out in the end. So,
wow. Well, good for you. Are your kids in this book at all? Do they make little cameos?
No, they don't. No, they don't. I hadn't thought of that. But I don't know. They're really happy about it. It's a funny thing. I worked in mainstream comics basically their whole lives. They've been to every San Diego Comic-Con. And they're not into comics. They were casually into them. They didn't.
That's always how that happens, right?
Right. It's weird, you know. But they're definitely all artists. My son can play the piano by ear. He can play beautiful stuff. And my daughter's a comedian and writer and all that. So they definitely got the art gene from me. You know what I mean? Because I know my dad can just draw and he never practiced. And my mom was very good drawing and painting and all that. My aunt is a fabulous piano. She's a piano teacher for decades. So we have that creativity in our family. Is it in your family too? Because I see your paintings and all that. And they're actually very, very good. You know what I mean? I didn't. I actually saw the eye you were doing the other day. I said, "Oh, wow, that is good technique." And I saw your palette, and you're mixing the paints, and you have all the stuff, and you know the underpainting and all that. And I'm like, "Oh, she actually knows how to paint," because I hadn't seen you paint before. I didn't know what to expect. But does that run in your family?
According to my mom, it does, but I have never seen it. Like I've never seen my mother draw anything except to like outline where she wants furniture in like a room when she's like doing stuff. But my mom is actually, it's funny. She's very good at landscaping and like designing. So when every house we've ever had like has been remodeled. And so my mom is really good at making things like look visually appealing. I haven't seen any of that on my dad's side. And then my sisters, I mean, all kids like to doodle and stuff, but they were never interested in art until I went to college and I got a degree and started working. Then all of a sudden, my youngest sister all of a sudden likes to paint. And I was like, wow, you never wanted to your whole life until, you know, the sibling rivalry thing.
Yeah. Speaking of arranging houses, what you said about your mother and all that, my wife is very good about that, keeping the house all like that. And she has this great garden she started in the backyard. And she has a personality where she's very, and I mean this only in a good way, very meticulous. She's very organized and all that. And I think it's fantastic. And she's been serving me all these greens that she's growing back there with my ribeyes and all of that. And it's delicious. Oh my gosh. What do we have? We had like the cabbage she's growing and the Brussels sprout. I know gardening talk, really exciting. But I'm really proud of her back there because I see her messing with the garden. It's like, I don't want to do that. It's a lot of work. And but I will eat it because it is delicious. So thank you, hon, if you watch this. I don't know if she's going to watch this or not.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, is anyone in your family an artist aside from you?
Not professional. I guess, I mean, my aunt was a piano teacher for decades. So I guess that, and then my cousin Nina unfortunately passed away last year, but she was.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
That's all right. She was the most talented musician I'd ever met in person in my life. She could play the piano. She could sing like 8 octaves. She could play the drums. She could play the accordion. And she was in multiple bands. And she led a choir for homeless people here in San Diego to like help encourage them and get them off the street and stuff. And one of her choirs, I don't know if it was the homeless one, but they made it to America's Got Talent right after she died or whatever like that.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, Nina, wonderful woman. She wrote an intro song I used to play on my YouTube show all the time. And I think I'll incorporate it again. But she wrote a song for me that it was my intro. But her and my aunt were the artists. And I suppose that my dad is an artist because he's a gourmet chef. I believe that cooking and dancing, I believe in all those are arts, not just visual art. So I think it takes an artistic sensibility to do any of that. So there's a little bit in the family for sure, you know.
See, I always think of it as like, you know, drawing or painting. But when it comes to like music, my sister, I took piano lessons for 5 years. Everyone thought I was going to be good at piano lessons because I have giant fingers.
Oh, wow.
Long freakish hands.
You know how big your, I'm like 10 and a half here. I have got catcher's mitts.
This is 6.5 inches from here to here.
Whoa, big hands.
I know. I have big, giant hands. So everyone thought I was going to be good at.
You have big hobbit feet too?
No, but I don't know. Okay. I mean, my feet are like, it depends on what brand. They're either between 7.5 to 9.5 inch shoes. So it doesn't make much sense. But no, I took piano lessons for 5 years. I hated every second of it. I'm not good. I can't play piano. I am tone deaf. I'm not musically inclined at all.
Oh, no.
Whereas my sister was really good at playing piano. My mom actually got like a baby grand for her to play.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we bought my son a piano for just a little stand-up one, but a real wooden piano for Christmas like 2 years ago. And he's never taken lessons, but he just watches YouTube videos and then plays by ear, and I'm pretty impressed. And he'll play beautiful. He loves to play the theme from Interstellar. You know how that music's really intense and that movie's like sad. And our dog, I'm not kidding. We have a little basset hound named Gene. He's named Gene Parmesan. My daughter named him Gene Parmesan after the private detective from Arrested Development.
Oh my God.
I call him Gene Boy. But when Peter plays that song, it's like in a minor scale or whatever, the sad scale or whatever. The dog will start howling. He'll come next to Peter and go, oh. It's really,
Little
I don't know if
baby.
you can like feel the melancholy or like, do dogs feel that sort of thing? I don't know. But it's
My
hard.
dog definitely doesn't.
No?
Maybe it's a hound thing.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. What sort of dog do you have?
I have a Pekingese.
Is that the little fuzzy ones with like the little dot eyes and all that? And
Yeah, with their little pushed in faces.
okay, not a pug though, right? They're like real, like
No. So like pugs and Pekingese both come from China, and they were both breeds of the dynasty that was ruling at the time. And so I had a pug growing up. I had a pug and Boston Terrier. So I like the pushed in faces because I think they're so cute.
Right.
But pugs can get a lot of like problems, and they're very loud and smelly. Like my pug's name was Stinky.
But not.
And we loved her, but she was so stinky.
Oh.
But my boyfriend, he didn't want a pug. He's like, no, we're not getting a pug. He's like, you can get any other dog, but I don't want a pug. And I was like, all right, well, I always wanted a dog that I could walk without a leash. Like that was just so bonded to me that wouldn't run away from me. Because when I was a kid, I had like a dog that was half wolf, and she ran away and our neighbors killed her.
Oh.
So yeah, so I didn't want that. I'm like, I'm too traumatized by that when I was a kid. So I was like, I want a dog that will be loyal, that's loving, and will just like, just be with me all the time and wants to be with me. And so Pekingese are exactly like that. They bond to their human. They don't want to be around, well, they'll be around other people, but it's like they want to be with their human, which comes with its side effects because if she can't see us, she freaks out and whatnot. And they get anxiety and stuff like that, but they don't have the skin problems that the pugs have. They're cute and they're full of love. And they can be brats at times, and they're picky eaters, but I love her.
Yeah, I feel the same. That sounds awesome. Yeah, there's nothing like dogs. We've had dogs my whole life, and this is our third basset now.
Aww.
Yeah, my daughter got a basset in second grade because one of her classmates who liked her, his parents unfortunately were divorcing, and I guess they bred these dogs, so they were just getting rid of them. So we got Speedy, but he was like American Kennel Club, and he had official papers, and I guess those dogs have like heritage and last names. And his family name was Thunderpaws or something like that. It was hilarious to me. He was a beautiful dog, a black basset with like orange spots and stuff. And now we have little Gene Boy, Gene Parmesan, and he's a wimp. My daughter, she's going to be 25, so I think the baby genes are kicking in for her, the baby hormones. She treats this guy like her son. Just like, what are you doing, spoiling him and all this stuff? So, but then they catch me always like feeding him at the table and all that. So I think most dads are like that. They're like, oh, this damn dog, and then they like love the dog. You know what it is?
Yeah, that's like me and Tulip. And same with Peaches. People were asking where Tulip is. So Tulip's favorite thing is to chase the lawnmower. So Peaches is outside mowing the lawn, and she's like back and forth following it.
And Peaches is your boyfriend?
Yeah, that's his nickname. I call him that because he's sweet and fuzzy like a peach.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Peaches. Who's this Peaches character? So,
yeah, that's his name. I'm sure you've seen like memes and stuff on like.
Yeah, I've heard of Peaches, but I didn't know who it was. I figured it was a girl, but okay. I guess
that's just my boyfriend's nickname. Okay, I try to keep like. My family doesn't do YouTube or know anything about the internet and stuff, so I try to keep them out of it as much as possible. So I won't really say too much, or I try not to, and I'll give like fake names and whatnot.
Yeah, that makes sense. We need our lives away from social media, but I see how the fuzzy thing goes along with the Portuguese thing you were saying.
Yes.
What is that word? Hairstute, right? That means like hairy or whatever. Hairstute people sometimes.
So. Yeah, we're definitely, you can pick us out of a crowd. I think hobbits were probably based off of the Portuguese.
Oh no.
I know well, Well, not all of us are little, but most of the Portuguese women were short and furry, and yes, the hairy feet is a thing.
Okay.
But I started getting laser hair removal, so I'm trying to get rid of like my mustache and stuff.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I need you guys to back the book because my wife has an appointment at the end of the month for some more laser stuff. So I don't know what goes on. Women, they go into those offices, they come out looking better, and then I look at my bank account and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess it was worth it. So
yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about the book.
Okay.
So who are these characters?
We have Truth right there in the purple, our beautiful former Olympian, gave up her Olympic career because she realized she has special powers that made her just dominant, and it would be cheating and stuff. And she's committed to the truth and all that. It's a big factor in her life. I don't want to get too much into some tragedy in her life, but she's definitely our superpowered former Olympian. She has her cool discus and javelin that she uses, and she can also suss the truth out of people with some mental abilities. You have Justice, super mysterious. Is he former special forces, army, border agent? Like, what is he? See, I don't know. I'm not going to say much. But
Reminds me of Judge Dredd a little bit.
Yeah, he's definitely given up. That's what we were thinking, like a Judge Dredd, and I'm just obsessed. I love Charles Bronson and all the Death Wish movies. If you haven't seen those movies, run, do not walk. Go see those. They're fantastic. They're comic books come to life. Those movies. They're ridiculous movies. You know, someone hurts Charles Bronson's family in Act 1, and then he proceeds to kill all of the criminals in New York City in Act 2 and 3. That's basically the plot of the movie. The script was a half page long. And so, yeah, we have Justice, and he's committed just to that, to justice. But will he go too far? Is he, you know what I mean? Is he giving into rage and stuff like that? And then you have Joseph Ellis, the American Way. He's your Midwest classic all-American guy, high school football star. Comes from a long line of blue-collar steel workers working at the steel mills there in Pennsylvania and Ohio. He fell into a supercharged vat of American steel, permanently turning him into a man of American steel. And what a lot of people would take as a curse and a ruined life, he has now dedicated his life for fighting for truth and justice and all that. And he's your guy, your big, slapping on the back and laughing. And he's that guy that everybody likes, that cool uncle, that cool brother, that cool big brother kind of guy. He's a really fun character. So we're having a ton of fun with this. And again, I want to ask you what you think of my philosophy here, where I'm not going to focus so much on yelling at the wokesters. Forget it. That's screaming at a wall. I know what we're going to do. I'm walking away from the woke people, and I'm just going to make my own stuff that's fun. Do you think that's a way forward? Do you think this book and other things like it is the cure to wokeism?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think it definitely fights it and makes a difference. And I think that the key factor here is that it scares them, right? Because if they weren't threatened, they wouldn't be throwing temper tantrums. I see Ethan fighting with people on Twitter like every single day,
right.
And they wouldn't be fighting with him if they weren't threatened by what he has to say. And that was a big wake-up call for me when I joined Twitter, was just people losing their mind over a tweet that I posted because they don't know me and they didn't get what I was trying to say, or they're just so threatened. And so like seeing people, like I have most of these people either blocked or muted, so I only see it when other people bring it up to my attention. But, just people that have no lives that are just counting like how many days, how many minutes your comic has been up and how much money it's made, and then comparing like this number to this number and like trying to figure out how people are laundering money. It's like that just shows me that they're threatened because they don't know how checking out works. They don't know how pricing works. They don't know how taxes work and shipping works. And I'm like, they wouldn't be paying that much attention if they weren't threatened by it. So this is definitely a factor on one front, but the problem with the wokeness is it's on almost every front now.
Right.
Like people are saying that it's getting into knitting, it's getting into hairstyles and stuff like that. So this is fighting it on the comics front.
Right. And that's what I can do.
Front.
That's what I can do, because that's what I'm good at. I don't knit, you know what I mean? I don't own a bakery, but this is what I can do. So it's what I will do. And, for those of you out there in the audience, I would encourage you, do what I did. Stand up to this. It's not going there anywhere if we don't stand up, because the wokesters, I think they're 1% of the population or less. I don't think most left-wing people are this way. I think this is not even a left-wing thing. This is a crazy thing. And we have to stand up and follow the law. I'm not saying do anything illegal, but I'm saying, do you think it was scary for me to just put all my faith in God and say, I'm walking away from a 6-figure job in Hollywood? I got a wife and kids I got to take care of. A mortgage that ain't going anywhere in Southern California.
Yeah, especially where you live.
Just so you know, San Diego's a very expensive town. When I bought my house like 7 years ago, we were looking at prices, and I told my real estate agent, he's a friend of the family for years, said, all these neighborhoods are expensive. And he said, San Diego doesn't have expensive neighborhoods. It's just an expensive, the whole town is an expensive neighborhood. I was like, oh, because I thought if I lived here or here or here, I could save money. But we're blessed. This house we have is gorgeous, and it is what you think. 60 for those of you out there, it's like 63 degrees year round, blue skies. It's amazing. So I don't know, but for me to walk away from that, you're damn right that's scary. You know what I mean? But it's and I'm religious, and you don't need to be. I don't judge you because I'm Christian. I'm better than you. I don't think that. I'm a sinner. I don't judge anyone. I'm not trying to convert anyone. But I'm saying I just had to trust God and say, okay, God, I'm stepping out. Catch me. Don't let me fall. And I didn't fall at all. He lifted me up higher than ever. My health, my finances, my relationship with my wife and my children, everything is better than ever. Not even thinking about comics in my career. And that's better than it's ever been. But I would encourage any of you out there, if you see the woke stuff out there, do what you can do. What I can do is make awesome entertainment for you guys to preserve our culture. But what you can do to stand up to it, stand up to it. You owe it to your dad, your mom, your grandparents. You owe it to these people. And your ancestors that you don't know. They fought and died and suffered, warlords and disease and eaten by tigers or whatever. You know how horrible most of human history was. They built this beautiful world for us with their blood. So we owe them. So what we got to do, we can't pay them back. They're gone, right? So what we got to do is we do what they did, and then we build the future for the people we won't even know. Like I said, they loved you and they didn't even know you. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm loving people that are going to look like me 100 years from now, and I won't even know them. But that's my duty. So I would encourage any of you, don't be afraid. You can do this. If I can walk away from Superman, it doesn't get bigger than Superman. They're called superheroes. But I had to look at my dad and my grandpa on those specific sacrifices and think about it and go, dude, you can't keep doing this. That's why I talked to my dad about it, and he guided, him and praying to God and all that. It gave me guidance on what to do, because I was very uneasy working on this stuff. I'm like, this is terrible. I'm helping ruin our culture. I don't want to do that. So rant over. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. I'm fascinated listening to it. It's nice when you hear somebody talk about what they care about. And that's usually what it is. People will care, or people will listen when the person speaking cares about what they're saying.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And you have to be honest. And, my YouTube channel, it's gotten successful now. I have 7,000 people. I can draw a crowd of 50 or 100 in my live streams and stuff sometimes when they're going well. Even more. I think I had Eric July on. We had like 200. He's a really fun guy. I'm doing a comic for Eric July, by the way. It's all done. It looks amazing. And he'll be announcing that soon. I'll be on his channel to promote this book too. But my old YouTube channel, but when I worked for Hollywood and I wasn't allowed to say anything because I was being a chicken shit, excuse my language. I was being a chicken. I'll own that. Working on their woke crap and not saying anything, keeping my head down like it was cowardly. I'm sorry. It was. I apologize for doing it. My YouTube channel had 500 subs because I wasn't myself. I didn't talk about the truth. I didn't speak freely. I would always think, well, I can't talk about that. I can't say that. I can't say that. And it's weak. It's weak to live that way. And I hated it. So I quit YouTube for like a year. And then when Ethan started inviting me on Comics Hate Kings, I said to myself, you can't be in this halfway. If you're in, you're in, man. If you're going to do this, then do it.
Were you afraid of going on his show, like when you were still working for them?
No, because the taking away the American way and Tom Taylor and Tom King, I think they had pissed me off enough where I was just like, you know what? I don't care anymore. You want to ruin Superman? That was the bridge too far for me. And it should have been years ago. It really should have been. Because for those of you, and that's most of you in the crowd that don't work in Hollywood, you only see it from the outside. You have no idea how insane and bigoted these people became the day Trump won and went into office. You see it on the outside, how crazy it is on Twitter and Jimmy Kimmel and all these people just mocking people who love their country. That's not bigoted to love your country. And they just hate us for being normal people. Even if we're left or right wing, they don't like normal left wing people or right wing people. They're like just woke is all they care about. You have no idea what it's like to work in Hollywood during the last 4 or 5 years. Oh my gosh, just outright bigotry. So Citizen Rosen says, excuse my language. This is Anna's channel, Gabe. Oh, swearing's fine here? I don't know.
Oh, I curse like a sailor. I mean,
Oh.
I'm from like the two biggest, the Portuguese that sailed around the world and the
Right.
Danish that went and pillaged
Okay,
half the
that's
world.
true. Well, I swear a lot too, and I'm trying to stop it. Like people trying to stop smoking, so I've been trying to curb it because I feel like I'm out here trying to give a super uplifting message for all ages. So if I'm saying, "Hey, tell your kids to buy my fucking awesome comic book," like, ugh,
Yeah.
like, so I'm not criticizing you because I swear a lot too. So I'm trying to rein it in. Sorry.
Yeah,
So,
I curse like a sailor. When I first started YouTube, I didn't know if you were even allowed to curse. I was all quiet about it. I was like, "Oh no, I said fuck." But then I kind of was like, you know what? I've gone through too much shit. Fuck it, and I just started.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, you know what? It's gotten to the point where it's seeping into real life, and I'll be around kids, and I'll just start dropping the F-bomb, and I'll catch myself. I'm like, oh shit, you
Right.
know.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so I'm like, I feel like I should reel it in a little
You
bit
gotta
at
watch
least.
it with kids because they'll say it.
I know.
I said the F word or something probably in front of my kids when they were real little. This is a funny story. And I was on the couch and I was like half asleep or something, maybe watching football. I don't know what. And my kids were like 4 and 2, or like 4 and 6 years old. And my son tells my daughter because they think I'm sleeping. He's all, I said, fuck. That's what my son tells her. And I just like whack him right on the butt. He thought I was asleep. I'm like, what did you say? So I was like, oh yeah. So man, I don't know. And someone in the comments said it got political. It did. It did. And if you're left wing, I don't hate you. I mean, I was a Democrat. I voted Democrat until the woke stuff went crazy. And I was like, it was that quote Ronald Reagan had, and Adam Carolla said it too. I didn't change. My party did. You know what I mean? I still have the same opinions I've always had about this country and my family and all of that. So yeah, if you can stand up to woke, I encourage you and I believe in you. I think you can do it. It will be scary, but you can do it, and we have to. This is it's the calling of our time. I think we all have to stand up to it.
Yeah. Well, and they're mentioning the no politics. So I have like a strict no politics rule on my channel. Like but that's for like me. And then I don't like it when my chat starts having political discussions and debates because, well, one, that's going to get me flagged on YouTube because they did this weird thing where they categorized everyone's channels based on the comments on the videos. And I went off on the guy who created it because I'm like, what the, you know, my channel isn't political. I don't talk about politics and all of that stuff. And so they took me off because they had me labeled as like a right-wing Nazi. And I was like, the hell? And I was like, find me a video where I talked about politics. Find me one where I've given my political opinions on anything. You can't because they don't exist. But so, yeah, only Star Wars politics. Exactly. But so when I have a guest on and they're explaining their reasoning for things, that's all right. As long as it doesn't get like, oh, I believe this, so we should kill all the children or something like that. You know, as long as they're not like a psycho, like calling for, mass death and stuff like that. It's fine. But I do appreciate like my chat keeping politics out of it. But yeah, in this case, I didn't have a problem with it.
Okay, yeah, and I don't want to go there too far, but I do have a reasoning for it, and it is semi-political. But I'm not even really a Republican. I'm just a conservative that loves that appreciates my country, what it did for me. So that's my whole point here, and I don't want to tear it down because I know what it could be like. I've talked to my dad about the country I've never gotten to visit that I'm from. I don't want it to end up like that. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of the world. And my biggest thing is like you need to study history. You need to understand history and see why things happened so that way you can prevent it. Because if you don't understand your history is you're doomed to repeat it. And so like when I went before all of the lockdowns and stuff, me and my boyfriend went to Europe because his twin brother was working in Berlin. And so we went to Switzerland, we went to Germany. And when we were there, we went to a concentration camp because I wanted to see that for myself. And it was pretty traumatizing. Like it was one of the worst ones that had like the hospital ward where they experimented pretty hardcore. And there was this plaque and it just had swabs of human skin.
Oh no.
Yeah, and so it was really, really dark and like seeing that kind of stuff. And then I took pictures of everything, even though they have like, don't take pictures. I'm like, no, I'm taking pictures of all of this. And when people talk about, oh, propaganda isn't a thing, I'm like, no, it absolutely was a thing. How do you think that they were able to alienate an entire race of people?
Right.
They first started off by using horoscopes. So they would manipulate people through the horoscopes. Then they bought the papers. Then they started getting into the entertainment industry and the fashion industry. And they demonized an entire group of people because they took over our media. So I think media is very, very dangerous, and people that know how to utilize it do.
Yeah, I think I saw a meme, and it was a little crude, but it really made a point. It was a girl's butt in like really tight like shorts or whatever, and it said on it, "Persuasion works on you whether you know it's persuasion or not."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I look at persuasion like alcohol. I could take this, fill it with vodka, and say, "But I know it's vodka, so it won't work on me," and then drink it. It's not up to me at that point. I'm going to be drunk whether I like it or not. So persuasion is the same way, because it goes to the hindbrain, it goes to the amygdala, it goes to that emotional center. Persuasion, it doesn't go to the cortex here where you're logicking it out and thinking. So yeah, well, if we have awful persuasion in our media, it will work on us to some degree, even if we know it's persuasion. You know, so you're absolutely right. The propaganda is a thing. So again, I think that's why it's important to make beautiful art that lifts people up. You know what I mean? And we don't bash people left, right, whatever. We'd say, here's the human spirit, here's hope, here's bravery. You can be like this too. You know, that's what I want people to know from what I'm making. So,
well, I mean, and it shows. Like, this doesn't look like it's preaching me propaganda. It literally just looks like a superhero book.
Yeah, that's what it is. You know, I mean, we have page 1 in there, and I think I'll add some more pages later. But David is very concerned about being secretive about everything. But like, there's what you get. You get your big downtown, you know, sort of metro center. I don't want to say metropolis. Your downtown metro center, and you got some huge threat in the sky. We don't know what it is, but we see a shadow casting down on American Way's legs there. And, you know, Justice has got his gun aimed, and, you know, they're talking tough. I didn't even put the dialogue in for any of this yet. But that's, I mean, and just artistically, David Williams is such a great designer. You know what I mean? I love the icons he made for these characters. If you scroll down a little bit, I put the ad I made for the t-shirts, and
this one?
I didn't want to do t-shirts. And when I looked inside our sales, you don't see it there because it's an add-on. We've sold a ton of them as add-ons. You don't see the number on there because it shows up in the place in the metrics. But we're selling a ton of these at the checkout. And I didn't want to do the t-shirts. I told Dave, that's a stupid idea. Who wants a t-shirt? So I go into Adobe Illustrator and Adobe Photoshop, and I start making the t-shirts. And as soon as I made them, I'm like, oh, I want a t-shirt. I love these. Like, you got to be kidding me. As soon as I saw them, I said, wow, those are great, iconic designs. So
see,
I
would take this and I would cut out the boob window.
Right. Yeah, that's what the hero has. But I thought, well, what if kids want to wear it though? But we could make the adult Halloween costume for Party City.
There you go.
I like how every costume almost for a woman is like whatever the character is, then you just put the word trashy in front of it at the party store.
Yeah, like and people will buy it. It's like, how do you the slutty version of it?
Like spaceman, trashy spaceman, you know, or space woman, I guess. But yeah, I guess for adults you could have the cutout version of that. One thing I love about Justice, you can't see it here because it's small, but on his gun he has etched into it easy way, and on his baton it says hard way. So I think he'll ask a criminal if they want the easy way or the hard way out. So,
oh my! So does he have superpowers?
No, he does not have any superpowers. No, he doesn't. He's our street level crime fighter kind of guy like that. He's your, you know, your Judge Dredd meets Batman meets basically Charles Bronson. Bronson with a riot helmet on. You know what I mean? So.
And but these two do have superpowers.
Definitely, we have American Steel has his steel-based power, his supercharged American Steel, and she has her mystical powers from where she's from. She's half Greek, half Ethiopian. Ooh. And she realized that she had super physical abilities and mental powers too, with delving the truth out of people. You know what I mean? And in some other artwork, she has her really cool high-tech javelin and her really cool discus. You know what I mean? So I think if you scroll around, if you just go up to the t-shirt thing, there you go on that right flying one there. So she has some Olympian-based weapons there, a javelin and a discus. So
was that what she competed with in the Olympics?
It wouldn't make a lot of sense if it wasn't. So
yeah, I would assume so.
Yes, yeah. I mean, we're making it up so we could say anything. She was a decathlete. She did 10 events, right? So, and our first stretch goals trading cards there. You know what I mean?
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, I'm really excited about those. I did the simple design based off of the 1988 Topps baseball card set my grandma got me when I was a kid. So it has a very similar and a really fun back. And we'll have stats on there and the description of powers and a cool little headshot. I've already designed the backs. So I'm waiting to hear back from the card guy if I can do any foil or anything special to some of the cards. So I'm not exactly what I'm going to do yet with them, but I want them to be really nice. I don't want them to be just something people look at and then just like, okay, put it away. I want them to be really unique and really fun. So,
well, you know what I found is fun. So they have those like tiny little frames at Michael's. If you just put those in like the frames, I don't know, maybe that's just something that I do because it's curly. Cool. And then you have like your superheroes in like little nice frames, and then it keeps it all clean and whatnot from the desk and whatnot. I know some. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying, some people have like those folders that they keep all the cards in.
Right.
But I feel like you don't really get to look at them when you have those.
I don't know. I had those as a kid for all my baseball cards, and you stick the card in the sleeve, and then you see the front and the back. I still have my Ken Griffey Jr. Upper Deck Rookie 1989 card. I thought that was going to make me a millionaire when I bought that thing in 6th grade. So I think it's worth like $400 or $500 now. So J Dog says something to me. I saw my name. Gabe, you should hit up Phil Diaz. He gets the best swag for his books. Oh yeah, I'm friends with Phil. I've had Phil on my channel, and he's a mod on my channel. So, and I'm going to bring Phil back on to promote his great book, The Lost Pages 2. He has a great comic book book too. So, but thank you for the suggestion.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of I totally spaced on what I was going to say when
it's all right.
We were talking about cards, weren't we?
We were talking about cards. You said you didn't think people could see the backs when they put them in sleeves. That's the last thing you said. Then I interrupted.
Oh no, not the sleeves. Maybe it's just because I'm a girl and I'm like I never collected like any of the cards and stuff. So when I see it, it's like I'd rather have like nice little picture frames so I could see everything. But that's just me. No, so I'm assuming that they don't look like this all of the time, right? Like they have like normal clothes or like normal, like Superman has got Clark Kent, right? So they have their alter egos. One of the things I think Shane was doing it, or no, Eddie Winkler did it, but it was like, here's this card, but as you move it, it like, she'll have her like clothes on. The other one, it's like, oh, like her, you can see her in her bra kind of thing.
Oh, like
that, where it's like you get the superhero on when you have it one way, and then you tilt it, you get to see their alter ego.
Right. It's kind of like a plasticky coating on there. Like, like if you scrape your nail on. Yeah, that's that lenticular stuff. I haven't priced anything out like that yet, but I don't know. I think that's a really neat thing. So, I mean, it's all worth looking at. I don't know if I would do it, but it's all worth looking at because at the end of it all, you have to price things out too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, trust me, I know.
There's Phil Diaz in the chat right now. Zaid Comics saying lenticular. Yeah, I'll hit Phil up later, or Phil, if you want to DM me if you got a card hookup. I'm talking to a local guy who has great quality and prices. But Phil, if you have a better guy, DM me. Okay, please. Thank you.
Yeah. Do these characters have like alter egos, or are they like this all the time?
As far as their look, we're going to keep them in these uniforms pretty much the whole time. You know what I mean? There might be some flashback stuff. There might be a little bit of stuff like that. But no, this is their look all the time. Justice for sure. I'm not giving anything away on him. I love the mystery there. You know what I mean? So and you know what I didn't notice, and my son pointed out to me, his Justice scales on his chest. It's also like a skull. I see the eyes and the nose. You know I mean? I didn't even know that. So then I asked David Williams, the illustrator, I'm like, was that intentional? And he's like, yep. So I'm like, oh, okay, I see. I didn't even know that. So
yeah, I didn't see it until you just said it. Now I can't unsee it. Like this is the nose and these are the eyes.
No, I think that's the breakout character here. A lot of people said they really liked his design. He's my favorite. I showed you earlier when I was talking about the flip thing about drawing. He's the first character of this I've already drawn. So, and this is actually a tier you can get too. I think if you scroll down on that, this is on Bristol board 9x12. This is hand drawn by me, obviously, and we have that. I think for $500 you would get original art from me and everything like that. And we also have it from the legend himself, David Williams. He's much more expensive than me, but he has a way bigger resume than me. And then Gary Martin is doing these gorgeous portraits too. Maybe I should put bigger images of those. I'll add that later today. I'll add bigger images right next to this at the bottom so you can see what those look like big. Because I just have those tiny thumbs there. I need to drop that in so people know. Because I can't expect people to spend that kind of money and not know what they're getting. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, but it's all learning.
Is there anything you could say about the bad guys? or no?
Are they bad guys? Is that a red herring? What's going on here? I'm being a little overly mysterious, but I mean, they look like bad guys. They might be nice. You never know. You don't want to judge people because there's lightning behind them. What if someone judged you because there was lightning behind you?
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. The villainous faces kind of are what trigger my thought on that. Also, she looks like every cougar in Orange County.
Oh, that is one of the most fun characters I've ever created. When I was making these three, could be heroes, could be villains, could be anything. I don't know. When I made them up, I am so proud of the name of that character, which I'm not going to reveal yet. When people hear it, they're going to love it though. And her whole vibe, everything about her, people are going to adore that character. I think I'm very proud of that one. Dave tasked me with creating some other heroes or villains, I won't say. And when I came up with that one, I just had to laugh. It's very good. And then he showed me his idea for the art, and I almost fell over. He's such a great designer. Dave Williams, the illustrator, he worked on Ben 10. He worked on Superman, Batman. He got hired by DC Comics. He's so good at drawing. He got hired when he was 17 and still in high school. He started working at DC.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? And the reason most people don't know who he is because he didn't spend much of his career in comics. He would jump in and do a fill-in issue. He would do covers. But he went the more secure route and worked in animation and consumer products and all that sort of thing. So he has a great eye on iconic design, like those chest logos and all that. When I see our characters, our three heroes, they look just like action figures to me. They're so iconically designed. And I hope we can get to there with this, like action figures.
It would be so cool, like with the way Ethan is doing all the Cyberfrog action figures. Like, I don't know if you can see behind me. I really like toys.
Yes, it seems that way. Just don't knock them down and break them, like that time Shane reached for his big Soundwave or Megatron and destroyed it.
Oh, yeah. I'm not Shane Davis, but I have broken a couple of things. But that was during moving and whatnot.
Right.
But yeah, it would be cool. I mean, I feel like your characters would transfer really well over. Did you ever see, excuse me, I'm getting the hiccups, Batman animated series, like those action figures that they had, like these would translate really well.
Yeah, you're right. That animated series, I think, is the best adaptation of anything comic book related ever. The stories are so good because you could be 8 years old and watch them and love them and understand them, and you could be 38 years old and watch them and love them. Like they're just and that's exactly the kind of storytelling Dave and I want to do in this book, where a kid can read it in 5th grade and someone who's, my age in their 40s can read it and be just as entertained. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you look at the Batman animated series, it is my favorite iteration of anything Batman. I think I revere that thing.
I think it's most people's.
Yeah. I've bought the DVD set multiple times for different nieces and nephews, and had it for I love that so much. So that is definitely informing what I'm doing here story-wise. Really fun pulp adventure stuff. So, I would love to see this adapted to that. We've been getting a lot of fan art, and a fan actually kind of drew them in that style. I wonder if I still have that on the desktop, or did I throw that away yet? Oh, here it is. Hold on. Open with preview. We've been getting fan art for a few weeks. If you want to share my screen again, I could show you that in the animated style, sort of. Let's see. This was not the animated style. But, can you see this at all? I know it's small.
Yeah. Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, a screenshot from Instagram. And this reminded me of like Mr. Freeze from the animated series.
Yeah.
But this fan, it was like I think his name was AC Cortez or something like that on Instagram, was doing these in the animated style. So you're right. I think Dave's designs are so iconic that they translate well to this sort of thing.
Well, they're deceptively simple.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. But then we've been getting other fan art too. This guy went more realistic. This guy did full on T and then J and then A, you know what I mean? He used their letters in a more realistic style. But I think it was really heartwarming to see fan art from different people. You know what I mean? It makes me feel like, wow, I am connecting. I'm making a difference. I'm inspiring people. So if other people see this, and little kids or whatever, even adults, and they decide to make their own comic or get into drawing or whatever, I think that's amazing. It's what an honor. Because again, this is that whole thing I told you about. People in the past did something for me and they didn't even know me. So now I'm doing stuff for people I don't even know them. So I hope when someone sees this drawing right here and reads these adventures and how exciting and fun they are, I hope they're drawing on butcher paper and throwing soda all over their grandparents' back lot of their restaurant. I hope they have the same thing I did and the joy and live in a culture and a place where they're free to do it. And they don't have to worry about getting canceled because they wrote the wrong story or whatever.
Yeah.
Where they can just be free to be artists. You know, you paint, when you're in the zone and you're painting and everything's just working, isn't it just bliss?
It
You know what I
is.
mean? When I was drawing this the other day, I was throwing these lines right here. I remember the moment, the lines that are like the feathering on his shoulder pad. I was throwing those with my brush, and they were just coming out with such ease, you know? And it was like it was just the joy of art. You know what I mean? I just was so in love with that moment. So I want to give that to other people. I want to inspire people to do it. So Paul Gibb asked if I'm a Star Wars fan. I'm the Star Wars fan, buddy. So absolutely, yes.
Yeah, I would recommend going back and watching the beginning of the stream if you missed it.
Right.
Let me see. I saw one super chat came in. Waylon Todd, thank you for super chat. I would be Anna's. Oh my. I would be Anna's boyfriend. She talks all night. I go play Witcher. I say, carry on talking to them. I play this game. Well, I already have one, but thank you for the compliment.
Thank you for applying for the position. It has been filled at this time.
Yes. Boyfriend builds things and fixes things, which I find very convenient because I don't like building or fixing things, especially cars. All right. Well, guys, we've been hanging out for a little bit over 2 hours now. My bladder is about to explode. I know, time flies.
Yeah.
Time flies online.
Talking to you. You know, we've talked a little bit. We've been on 2 or 3 streams together. We've private messaged a little bit. And I'm glad this went well because I didn't know you that well, but I think it was a delight. So I appreciate you so much having me on. I really do. Giving me access to your platform and your fans here and hoping I can earn their business, earn it. I'm not entitled to anything. I understand that. So I really, really want to thank you, Anna. It was very kind of you.
No problem. Thank you for coming on. You were a fantastic guest, and I will happily have you on again, and I will happily promote your book.
Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. No.
I know, right? I know what is going on tomorrow. What day is it? I don't know. I'll be more blonde tomorrow. I'm getting my hair fixed at 1.
Is this just for style or is this cosplay?
Kind of both. So I was doing like the rogue stuff, but I think we're going to make it a little bit more blonde because this one character I'm going to cosplay as, she's got blonde hair and I have to like have it in a ponytail and whatnot. You know, Samus. No, Samus.
Oh, Samus. Samus Aran from Metroid.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, so I was like, I have a wig, but I don't really like it. So we're going to try it on my hair. And if I hate it, then it's stuck like that until I get it fixed. But I do need to fix these roots, you know.
At least you have long hair. You know, guys, this is why you have to fund this book. I want to get hair plugs. I'm not bald. I have hair on my entire head. I'm going to get, listen, this is my plan. I'm going to get hair plugs. I'm going to have like long flowing hair. And then I will be the most arrogant, smug bastard about my hair. I won't let anyone touch it. And you'll just see me doing this constantly.
Well, no, you'll be so sick of it that you'll want to just shave it.
I'm so jealous when I look at my son's head. He's got this mop and it grows fast.
Aw. My hair
I
goes
had gorgeous hair when I was younger. I did. Big curls, like big 1-inch curls. Because I'm Middle Eastern, you know? And I don't know. But yes, we need to have a stretch goal where I get a full mop. You know what I mean?
Oh God.
The whole thing.
You do the wig like Ethan does.
No, never. Would be funny though.
Well, guys, I have all of Gabe's links down in the description of this video. Go make sure that you follow him on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. And if you haven't already, I would highly recommend, backing his book and, showing support to, an independent creator that did, a lot of work for both Star Wars and, some of your favorite superheroes. So I'm going to do a refresh. We are at 19,000 right now, which is huge because you just launched this yesterday.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Let's see. Do we make $1 at least?
And we got 287 backers. Let me do a little refresh on here. Whoa.
Oh, wow.
Hey.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. You are at
exactly 300.
Yeah.
Nice.
You're at $19,810 with 300 backers. Congratulations. You did a really good sales pitch. People like you.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much. All I can say is thank you. It's an honor. And join me, guys. Please support me, support this book. And in your own lives, you can stand up to these woke people. You don't have to put up with this. It's our culture. We can fight for it in a good way, in a productive way like this.
Exactly. create, they're tearing everything down. It's the Tolkien phrase that everyone's talking about right now, where evil cannot create, they can only destroy. So we have to create because they are destroying what we love.
Yeah. Well, I'm one guy that ain't gonna let them. You know what I mean? So there we go.
Exactly.
Thank you for having me. This is amazing.
No problem. Is there anything you would like to say before we say goodbye to everyone?
No, because if you let me talk, I'll just keep talking. Can you tell I talk a lot?
It's okay. It makes for a great live stream. But everyone, thank you so much for watching. As all of my live streams this will be unlisted and re-uploaded onto my secondary channel, that's Star Wars Girl Live. So if you're not subscribed over there, go and catch it on the re-upload, unless you're lucky and you have the unlisted link. But smash the like button, leave a comment, and I will see you guys all later. So until next time, may the Force be with you, because we are really, really, really going to need it. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
I'll tell you where I thought I came in the forest, when the lightsaber goes like this and flies off. I said, oh, what a great entrance. Ah! Ray caught it? She hasn't even been to Dagobah for training.